The Orioles are on Masson on a gorgeous Tuesday night in downtown Baltimore. The Orioles welcome in the Los Angeles Angels. Tonight it's game one of a quick two-game series against the Angels. And hi, everybody. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks for joining us as the Orioles, after 15 consecutive games against the National League, get back to American League play tonight. And the Orioles fared very well in the Interleague play, and they had to, because every other team in the AL East played very well as well. In fact, when you look at the numbers, the Orioles were outstanding. They went 11-7. They won 5 of the 6 series. Only series they lost was the 3-game sweep in New York against the Mets. Every team in the AL East had at least a 500 record in Interleague play. The only division in baseball that can boast that. The best Interleague record, that belonged to Texas. They went 14-4. The worst belonged to Colorado at 2-13. And the Orioles, in the wins against the National League, the 11, 6 saves, tied for second most in the American League. So, Jim Palmer, now what the Orioles have to try to do is carry over the pitching aspect of that back into American League play and maybe find those bats, because the competition doesn't get any easier. Yeah, the bats have kind of gone away. 17 runs the last 9 games, but the Orioles did win 4 of those 9 games, and of course they did it by pitching. They got great starting pitching in Atlanta. You got the Hamill shutout, you got the Chen shutout for 7 innings, and then we have this bullpen. And when you play the Nationals, they can pitch. Again, they're a little bit wounded when it comes to injury, so not hitting well, but they're going to play a complete game. A team now, when you talk about the Angels, they're 22-8. They're averaging 5 runs a game, as they talked about in the pregame, so they're kind of the team that I think everybody expected them to be, and they're rolling. And they roll into town, have won 11 of their last 12 games on the road. Yeah, let's take a look back over the last 9 games, because when you look at the offensive numbers, it's actually amazing that the Orioles won 4 of these games. Well, you're right. And again, everybody goes, well, can they keep it up? And again, you look at a lot of the denominators that usually indicate you're playing well, and that's, you hit well with runner in scoring position. Are you scoring a lot of runs? How's your on-base percentage? Do you have any speed? How you playing defensively? And the Orioles don't do any of those very well at the moment. But again, look at the bullpen. They keep them in games. If you get them a lead, you can win. And, we talked about it early on tonight, Jim. Nick Markakis said we've never had a bullpen like that. And just think about it. If you're an Oriole hitter, you don't have to get a lot of runs. It would help, but you don't need to, and you can still stay in ball games. And then in extra innings, they've won their last 9 ball games. So, again, this bullpen is outstanding. And tonight the key, of course, can Mattis outpitch C.J. Wilson? And C.J. Wilson's a heck of a pitcher. Right, and that is a key, because for the bullpen to be effective late in games, the starters need to do their job to give them a chance to be in those games late, and that falls to Brian Mattis tonight. Orioles had 3 outstanding starts over the weekend in taking 2 of 3 from the Nationals. Yeah, Jake Arrieta, I was talking to him and actually watching some film, and his mechanics have gotten a lot better. He only gave up 1 run, and again, he could have given up a couple of more. The 1 run was a little bit unlucky, but he made a great pitch, double play to get Bryce Harper out. So again, that's what the Orioles want. They want Mattis to do what Arrieta did, keep him in the game, and then hope you get the big hit and you get the bullpen coming to the rescue. And we have a beautiful night for baseball, the first of a quick 2-game set with the Angels. Tuesday night baseball on Masson. Lineups at first pitch are coming up. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Chevy Cruze, offering the best highway mileage of any gas engine in America. By Blimpie, America's sub shop. And by Jeep. Jeep and the unique brand of freedom you'll find only in the full line of Jeep vehicles. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Well, what a gorgeous night it is for baseball here. Let's get a look at our Train game time temperature. Visit Train.com for an independent Train comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a Train. 83 degrees, slight breeze out of the west-northwest at 11, and a delicious 26% humidity here on the 26th of June. So the Orioles and Angels starting up this two-game series. Let's get a look at the Angels Dodge starting lineup. See your authorized Dodge dealer and experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Schedule a test drive or go to Dodge.com and check out our powerful lineup. Trout, Hunter, and Pujols with Mark Trumbo DHing. Look at those numbers on the month. The RBIs especially 23 in the month of June. Kendrick, Ibar, Inasturiz, Borges, and Hester. A right-handed heavy lineup for Mike Scioscia.
And take a look at our AFC Intelligence Report. Visit AFC.org, the Association for IT Pros. Well, again, for Brian Matusz, put the brakes on. You've lost 3 in a row. On paper, this is kind of a mismatch. Wilson's ERA is half of what Brian's is. And Brian comes in with 5 runs a game, and tread carefully because, again, this team playing very well. Righties are hitting .320 off them, and they're averaging about 5 runs a game over their last 30 ball games for the Angels. So, again, the team that I think everybody expected them to be.
Brian coming off a loss last Wednesday in New York against the Mets. And there's a strike taken by Trout, 1-1 the count. And there's the reason why Mike Scioscia has 9 consecutive batters in this lineup batting from the right side, as those splits are obvious for Scioscia to favor the right-handed batters. And Trout is leading the American League in hitting. And he fouls it back, so a ball and 2 strikes. Trout, 20 years old. He won't turn 21 until August the 7th. Leading the American League with a .338 average. He's playing in his 52nd game. You see his current 7-game hitting streak. He began the year 20 games in AAA and batted .403, and Mike Scioscia and the Angels said, time to get him up here. And he pops it down the line, and Betemeed over, and he has it for the out. So a real good pitch by Matusz and 1 away. Well, the Angels coming on strong, Jim. You see the turnaround. First 43 games, people were wondering what's going on here. They're supposed to be a contender. Well, they showed over the last 30 they're a contender.
Well, in April, I mean, they started out 6-14. Pujols didn't hit a home run in his first 93 at bats, and Trout comes to the big leagues. Again, they pitch better. Their starters have the best earned run average. So do they collectively.
Hard smash to third, played nicely by Andino, and then fires across to get Torrey Hunter for the out. That was a tough play on that hop. Andino made it, and 2 men down.
Okay, Tollefson, Jones, Pierce. So again, a piece together outfield. Markakis still trying to get back off the DL with a hamate bone, waiting for that stitch to heal. And then the infield, you saw Robert Andino. He can pick it. So the defense at third is going to be good. Hardy at shortstop right here. I mean, this is, again, it's a reflex position. And I don't know, most of the errors that Roberts made this year throwing. So around the infield again, it's Roberts at second, Hardy, Betemeed over at first.
Pujols rips it down the line. That heads to the corner, and Tollefson will have to go out and dig it out. So Pujols jumping on the first pitch. Andino was back. He was toward the line, and Pujols still hit it by him.
Now, you can't play a guy, I don't care how good he is, and Pujols is as good as anybody. I mean, you can see him hook that ball, so Robert Andino can't quite get to it. But again, real good reflexes. I mean, that ball was whistled into the corner, and just think what happens. And we've seen, even on the Saturday game where Betemeed didn't make a play, if he doesn't make that play, that's probably a run for the Angels. So defense, a big part if you're going to pitch well.
And here is Mark Trumbo, who is having himself a year. Matusz misses 2 tight, 1-0. Trumbo is 6th in the American League in batting. And very good numbers, outstanding numbers with runners in scoring position.
Well, he's hit 11 home runs in his last 26 games. So
got under that one. Tollefson in left center field will have a play, and now moves in on it. And he has it for the out. So a 2-out double, 1 left. Mattis gets out of it. Angels don't score. We go to the bottom of the first. Here come the Birds. Baseball, double by Pujols, no runs. Here come the Birds in the bottom of the first. Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Orioles. Roberts, Hardy, and Jones with Matt Wieters in the cleanup spot with a lefty on the mound tonight. Big numbers career against the Angels, 329, 3 home runs, and 14 RBIs. Mark Reynolds will DH tonight. Then Betemit, Pierce, Tollison, and Andino. Buck Showalter has gone with a right-handed heavy lineup against C.J. Wilson.
So our FC scouting or intelligent report on C.J. Wilson. Well, again, he's rolling. He's won his last 4 straight. He's got the lowest earned run average of any starter. And over his last 6 starts, it's 131, 244 on the year. Loves to pitch on the road since 2011. The lowest ERA, 2.31. I mean, that's under 2.5 runs a game. And then you go all the way back to his first year as a starter, 2010, 2.47. So, well, if you're Brian Mattis, pretty easy. Pitch well.
That's right.
I hope he has a bad evening, and that can happen because one of the scouting reports, Jim, was on paper. On paper, it certainly favors the Angels. They're playing well. They're scoring more runs. They have one of their, I guess you could call him a #1 starter. He's pitched that well, but you just never know in this game.
Brian Roberts leads off. He takes strike 1. 3 switch hitters in the lineup, including Brian. They'll all bat from the right side against Wilson, who works quickly in a slow bouncer towards shortstop. It'll be a tough play for Ibar. He throws, and he got him. So Ibar circled around. A good, strong throw. Roberts retired and 1 away.
Already some good infield defense here. Trout, Borges, Hunter, really good outfielder. Outfield for the Angels, Asturis, Ibar, Kendrick, Pujols. A couple of Gold Gloves over at first. Everybody looks at his bat. And then John Hester, a backup catcher for the Angels. And he was trying to make the Oriole Ball Club out of spring training down in Sarasota. So now an Angel.
Began the year at AAA Norfolk, then released, and the Angels picked him up as J.J. Hardy takes a strike. C.J. Wilson now 31 years old. He's out of Fountain Valley, California, so back home in his native California. And as Hardy looks outside, 1-1.
And was he born in Huntington Beach? Now he lives in Newport Beach.
I hear that's nice.
Yes, it is. It's even nicer if you get a 5-year deal. So he came home, so to speak.
Well, the Orioles facing yet another left-handed starter here, and the Angels starters have 32 wins on the year. Buck Showalter's club trying to find those bats. And it's difficult to find those bats when you face the quality pitching they have seen very consistently now over the last couple of weeks. 2-1 to Hardy, a changeup he fouled back. And here are the numbers against the left-handed pitching on the year. 12-7 against left-handed starters, second best in the American League. And here are the best batting averages against left-handed starters in the lineup. Yeah, but again, good pitching, supposed to start good hitting. And there's that slider from Wilson. And I was talking to Mike Butcher, his pitching coach, and CJ 2 years ago, he led the American League his first year as a starter in walks with 93.
And we all know he's got great stuff. He was a closer, and he's left-handed. I mean, this is a quality breaking ball. He's got plus control, and Mike Butcher simply said we're trying to get him to throw more early strikes. And again, why is that? Bring the pitch count down, and he's been able to do that. And pitching as well as anybody in baseball.
And our Nissan Pitch Track, brought to you by Nissan. Close a great deal now on your new Nissan, but hurry, the door to your opportunity closes July the 2nd. Adam Jones, first ball swinging to short. Ibar plays the hop, and C.J. Wilson has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So nothing across. We'll head to the second. Orioles and Angels on a beautiful night in Baltimore. No score. Tonight's second inning is presented by Luna. Call for the Luna Double and get your second room of flooring free. Call 877-241-LUNA. Beautiful overhead view of downtown looking towards the Inner Harbor. Just a perfect night for baseball, and Jim Palmer walked onto the field, and the first thing he noticed was the breeze blowing out to left center field. Still can't get beyond what the pitchers look at when they walk on the field.
Well, actually, down at the cage, it appeared, and I asked Nick Markakis, I said, it appears that not too many balls going out of the ballpark. It's blowing in. He said, we'll see at game time, and now it looks like it's maybe turned around and going out towards left.
Mattis gets ahead of Kendricko and won both pitchers in the first inning. There's Nick. He is very, very anxious to get back going. He's hoping Friday, this week, Friday, he'll be able to resume baseball activities.
Yeah, waiting for the stitches after they took that hook of the hamate bone out. And they are, of course, to go in and shave off that little, I guess, rounded pointed end. That can't be rounded end pointed, but at a pointed end, again, deep stitches or a deep wound, and it's taken a lot longer than he anticipated.
0-2 on Kendrick. Mattis misses away.
Well, the one thing about Brian Mattis, he struggled a little bit. He's been hurt. Home run down in Atlanta. Wasn't very sharp in his last start against the Mets. They don't get him a lot of runs. I mean, 3.45.
That ball's hit towards the middle and a base hit. So on a 1-2 pitch, he left it out over the plate, and Kendrick's on with a leadoff single. The Maryland Lottery's Strike It Rich contestant of the game is John Heingardner of Baltimore. John has already won $500, and for every strikeout the Orioles pitch during the game tonight, John wins an additional $100 more from the Maryland Lottery. See how you can turn non-winning Strike It Rich scratch-offs into cash and enter to win great prizes at mdlottery.com/strikeitRich. Here's Eric Ibar, the switch hitting shortstop. Shows bunt and takes outside. Look more of a base hit bunt attempt than a sacrifice bunt attempt. Although, as Dino Ebel flashes the signs, Mike Scioscia's team sacrifices more than any team in the American League. Scioscia likes playing for those runs because his pitching staff is so good. They have 23 sacks as a team, most in the American League. And there's a strike taken, 1-1 on Ibar.
Yeah, and you look at the bottom of this lineup. Number one, there's Mike Scioscia. We know that Of course, coming out of the National League as a formidable player on a lot of good ball clubs. He's always been accused of playing a little bit of National League baseball, but again, you can do that when you have good pitching.
Right.
Now he has speed and he also has power.
1-1 is painted on the outside corner. Good pitch, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, Ibar again. Really, I mean, Eric started out slowly, first 40 games, and again the Angels weren't playing well. Hit under 200 at 187. Since then, he's hit over 300. Interleague, he didn't mind that too much. 414 in interleague play.
1-2, high fly ball left center field, sending Tallis into the gap. He'll get there, and he has it for the out. Kendrick played it halfway. He's back to first. And one away. Let's get a look at our Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Well, the Orioles over the weekend, first 3 games of the homestand, go 2-1. Look at that team pitching, a 1.00 ERA. 5 runs, 3 of those earned in 27 innings. Starters pitch very well. Bullpen even better. 1-0, 2 saves and no runs. And the team batting, Jim, 222, 3 home runs, only 5 runs over the weekend, and they won 2 of those games. Incredible.
Well, they won them 2-1, and you know, again, Chen could have had a no decision with a little bit better defense on Saturday. Again, he didn't. Orioles only scored 1 run that game, so he's pitched very well. And if you're Brian Matusz, you just want to continue what they did. I thought Edwin Jackson of the Nationals said it very best. I want to be the best pitcher on the field that particular game. So for Brian, and it's going to be again not a monumental task, because we've seen him be very good. He was very good and broke the 12-game losing streak up in New York, but he's got to stay on an even keel with C.J. Wilson, and he's capable of doing that if he executes his pitches out of the middle of the plate.
Misses outside,
but we're not seeing him overthrow it and trying to get to 91. His average fastball this year is about 2 miles per hour faster than it was last year. But again, velocity doesn't tell you the whole story. Can you command it? Can you stay out of the middle of the plate?
Meiser is Turris at the plate, and he lifts it into left field for a base hit. So 2 hits in this inning on 1-2 pitches.
Yep. Well, again, a hanging curveball or slider, something that stayed up to Kendrick, who put a real good swing on it. Again, if you're Meiser Turris, what are you trying to do? You don't hit a lot of home runs, so you're just trying to make contact, and he's able to do that. But again, the ball up just a little bit.
Buck Showalter's team in second place in the AL East, and they have the best record of what would be the wild card race. Still a little early for that. The Angels, if play ended today, they would be the second wild card team. And there's a strike taken by Peter Borges. Borges blazing speed, so he's a tough guy to double up. Wayne Kirby adjusting the outfielders.
And you don't want to be fooled by his number, because he's not getting the at-bats he had last year. Got 500 at-bats last year. And he hit well. I mean, a lot of triples. We have 11 triples. That led the American League. 12 home runs. Average went up from the year before. We got limited at bat from 204 to 271. And then, as you mentioned, good speed, 22 steals out of 31 attempts. But again, he can bunt. And they did have a hitting instructor change we can talk about over the 2 games. Mickey Hatcher being relieved back in May. Jim Eppert was his minor league hitting instructor. Jim now the hitting instructor here for the Angels.
1-1 is inside, 2-1.
So 10 years at AAA Salt Lake. And Borges had 60 hits back in 2010 when Jim Eppert, who you just saw in your picture, was his hitting instructor. In 1 month, 60. 6-0, Jim.
That's a lot.
It's probably more than you had when you played second base up in New Jersey in high school.
Slow ground ball towards second. Roberts will have 1 play. It's at first, and he gets him by a stride. The hustle down the line at 2 down. Well, we're talking about the wild card race, and this year with the 2 wild cards, we're talking about it earlier because there are more possibilities. And here's the wild card race right now. Orioles have the lead there. The Angels are a game and a half back of the Orioles, but both would qualify if the season ended today. Tampa Bay's a game and a half back. The Blue Jays 3.5 back. The Red Sox 3.5 back. Every team in the AL East is above 500. Number 9 hitter Hester, and Mattis misses inside. In fact, Boston and Toronto are 38 and 35, tied for last in the AL East. The White Sox, with a record of 38 and 35, lead the AL Central. That's how tough Buck Showalter's club has it in the AL East. Hester's at 245. High fly ball left field. He got a lot of it. Tolleson is back, backing up at the wall. He'll make the catch as the ballpark holds it. So 2 hits and 2 men left, and a scary moment at the end. Mid-second, no score. Three hits. Matt Wieters will lead off here in the bottom of the second. And Jim, Matt brings a .413 batting average into this game against left-handed pitching. That is best in the American League. And here's where he hits the ball, batting right-handed and left-handed, or versus left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching.
So you can see he's pretty much a pull hitter both ways. But again, last year had one of the more incredible years you'll ever see. Again, 121 at bats, 11 home runs. Hitting right-handed, and then hit .339. Hit 11 home runs left-handed, but 375 at bats.
That was amazingly consistent from each side of the plate. That's hard to do. Really, it's 2 different swings, right?
Well, that's what you have to work with.
Or you try to have similar swings from the other side.
Yeah, and again, Sean Burnett tried to get in on him after throwing everything away. Adam Jones kind of poked a single in the right. And on a 1-strike count, he hit it into the Oriole bullpen, and that's how the Orioles won on Sunday. 2-1.
Broken bat bouncer to second. Kedrick is there. And Wieters is retired for the first out. So already 3 ground ball outs for C.J. Wilson.
Well, he's not afraid to throw it over. And again, I mean, this is a guy that we saw come up as he would be a bullpen guy, and then the last 2 years down in Texas, they turned him into a starter. 15 wins, 16 wins, 33, 34 starts every year. So very consistent, throws a lot of strikes. But again, it's nice to pitch ahead in the count. And when he's able to do that, very, very effective.
Here's Mark Reynolds, who is DHing tonight. And the curveball is outside. Mark is 2 for 10 on the homestand, but one of those 2 hits a home run. And he lifts it to right field. Torrey Hunter moves in on it, and an easy play, and 2 quick outs here in the second inning. But you look at C.J. Wilson and all the things he does well, and probably what he does better than anything is keep the ball in the ballpark. He has not allowed a homer in his last 7 starts, and he has not allowed a home run in 11 of his 15 starts. And that's bad for the Orioles, because the Orioles are 36 and 17 when they homer, and they are 5 and 14 when they don't.
Yeah, they got about 45% of their runs via the home run ball. And Sunday's a perfect example.
Yep, you get 2 runs on one swing.
One swing from Matt Wieters.
And amazing, Jim. Here we are on June the 26th, as Bettamy takes a 1-1 the count. And Wilson has allowed a total of 4 home runs, and all 4 home runs are solos.
Well, he's an equal opportunity guy. 2 to right-handed hitters and 2 to lefty. But he dominates left-handed batters. And, you know, Chris Davis actually 3 of his 12 home runs off lefties. He hits over 300. But again, Wilson is so tough. 172. There is Chris. He now plays everywhere. Pitches, first base, third base, right field, DH.
He was out early for early hitting today, working with Jim Presley.
And then out in the outfield, too, with Wayne Kirby working on his throwing. He's actually acquitted himself quite well in right field.
3-1. The 4 who have taken Wilson deep: Josh Willingham and Ben Zobrist from the right side, Adam Lind and Josh Hamilton from the left side. And a weak ground ball past the mound. There's Kendrick. He will get Bettamy. And a second consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning. Pitchers in control early. We played 2. Orioles and Angels, no score. Is brought to you by Chapin Davis Investments, celebrating 60 years of advising investors. Call Chapin Davis at 800-222-3246. By Farmers Insurance, call 888-96-FARMERS or visit farmers.com to find a local agent. We are insurance. We are farmers. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Let's look at the Utah Street Gate here at Oriole Park, and there's Brian Mattis. 26 pitches to get through 2 innings, and there's the breakdown.
Well, again, a lot of fastballs, and that's all right. Yeah, we go back and look at some of his better pitch games down in Tampa Bay, where he pitched extremely well. He threw 29 sliders. And again, it was one of those afternoons where he threw 22 of them for strikes. So I think, to me, when you're pitching against C.J. Wilson, can you get the leadoff batters out?
Trout fouls it back.
Because, again, that's the easiest way to score runs, especially when you have a manager like Mike Scioscia. You know, the one thing about Trout is, you know, Mike, I mean, he's attempted 24 stolen bases. He gets on base. He's 21 out of 24. On base percentage almost about, what, 399 coming in?
Late on the swing, and he fouls it off.
So we get to see him right after seeing Bryce Harper. Trout a year older.
Trout
and comes from New Jersey.
Yep, Millville, New Jersey. Talked to him before the game. He said it's South Jersey, about 20 miles south of Glassboro, which most people know because there's a college there. Used to be Glassboro State.
Maybe you know most people.
Of course I know.
Most people.
I'm from there. There you see the pitches for strikes on the first pitch. Wilson 5 out of 6. That's real good. Mattis 5 out of 10.
Not so good.
2-2 on Trout. Ripped to left field. Tollefson is there, and it's over his head. He smoked it, and Tollefson watches it sail over his head. There's a leadoff double.
Yeah, boy, you know, we really wish Nolan Reimold well, but you have an infielder playing left field, and not an easy play because this ball is nailed. So again, if you don't get a good read, the toughest ball is the ball right at you. I don't know if it's going to hook or keep sailing, and that ball was hit so hard that Steve doesn't get a great jump on it. I mean, I think a normal outfielder in the sense that he plays there all the time, Nolan Reimold, taller, probably would have lassoed that one, but it is a leadoff double.
Torrey Hunter now with a runner in scoring position and nobody down.
So we'll see what the Angels' approach are. We have a guy not giving up many runs. Torrey Hunter, who has hit very well since he was moved into the second spot. See if he takes a shot to right field.
He does try to go that way, and he fouls it back on the screen.
Actually, that's one of his long suits. He's a good fastball hitter. He hits much better when he lets the ball travel and uses the whole field. And he can drive the ball to right field with the best of them. And of course, if you hang a slider, that's when the bat gets a little bit quicker.
1-1 is inside, 2-1. So the Angels already have 4 base hits, including 2 doubles. Mattis allows 14.5 base runners per 9 innings, and that is the 3rd highest number in the American League. So men do get on base on.
And it's when they get on is so important.
Again, tried to go to right field and fouled it off.
So again, he's not been able. We've seen him all year occasionally touch 93, but most of the time 91 to 92. Tonight it's 89. I mean, perfect night to pitch as far as temperature. Unfortunately, you have a hot team with a lot of right-handed batters that you have trouble with.
2-2 is ripped towards the middle. There's a base hit as Hardy can't get to it. Trout is being sent by Ebel. The throw home by Adam Jones is not in time, and that allows Torrey Hunter to take second base.
Well, you got a couple of factors there. You had a horrible pitch. It's in the middle of the plate, and then you have a horrible play from center field because you got to understand who's running, and he even holds up. So we've just seen Bryce Harper come into town and hustle singles into doubles. This ball again is massaged into center. And again, belt high up the middle. There's the hesitation. But if you know Trout, you can't throw him out. Hit the cutoff man. Do not give them another runner in scoring position.
So Torrey Hunter alertly moves up 90 feet, and here's Albert Pujols to double his first at bat. Breaking ball fouled off. Defensive shift against Albert Pujols with Roberts on the shortstop side of second base. So where does Albert hit his home runs? Pretty much everywhere.
Well, on a normal year, yes. Usually cannot sneak a ball by him.
Again, straight back.
The one number I looked at in a normal year for Albert Pujols, he walks about, well, it's actually for a career 7.5 times every time he goes to the plate. This year it's 12. Now, what does that tell you? Does that tell you he's chasing more pitches? And you get about 240 million reasons why, because he's trying to maybe do a little bit too much.
0-2 is hit back to Mattis. He's got Torrey Hunter hung up. Fires to Roberts. Roberts will run him to third. They're trying to get in a rundown, and Andino tags him. He's out as the ball came out of the glove. Mattis caught it. Would have been able to tag Torrey Hunter anyway. So Mattis alertly able to get that lead runner, and one down. Mike Scioscia wants an explanation from Al Porter. He believes that should have been a ball still in play.
Yeah, again, only one throw, and then right here you can see Torrey Hunter.
Well, he tagged him a second time anyway, so.
Well, he does, but he already called him out by here. See, I think what he did is he stuck that left arm out, and that's what caused the ball to come out of Robert Andino's arm. It wasn't exactly textbook. You're taught to run right at the runner.
Right.
But the good thing about Brian Mattis, number one, he caught it. Number two, he got it to Brian Roberts quickly so they could do what the good infielders do all the time. No more than 2 throws and a rundown. And by the time they got that done, Pujols couldn't get to second.
Here's Mark Trumbo, who flied out to deep left field his first at bat. And it's taken high, 1-0. Torrey Hunter pointing. You saw he was gesturing to Albert Pujols, head to second, I'm going to get in a rundown. And with that, Andino tagged him, and Albert stayed at first. Mattis deals 1-0. It's hit towards the middle. There's another base hit. So that play at second base even bigger now because Pujols goes to second, 2 on with 1 out. Fans, Adam Jones is in striking distance of earning a starting spot in the All-Star game. Visit Orioles.com/All-Star and vote Orange. Support Adam and all the rest of your birds. Vote at least 20 times online. Select the O's as your favorite club and enter the Orioles All-Star Sweepstakes. A winner will get an autographed jersey from an O's All-Star. Vote up to 25 times online per email address. So vote Orange now, Orioles.com/All-Star. But hurry, the voting closes Thursday night at midnight.
Yeah, that nice play by Mattis races, and you know what Jonesy was trying to do in center. It was an emotional play. You don't want the run to score. So as it turns out, and they still have runners at first and second.
6 base hits already.
But you got to make some pitches. And you know, I was looking at one of the games. Chris Capuano, who pitches for the Dodgers, who's 9-2, he beat the Angels in this same lineup on Saturday. He threw 53% sinkers. In other words, he kept the ball down. And then he threw 30% changeups. So you have to be able to, and he never threw a ball over 87 miles per hour. But for Brian, you know, it's almost like sometimes he thinks he's a power guy. Tonight at 89, he's not. He has to make better pitches than he's made so far. And you could see, again, the pitch count way up, 18 and now 17 here in the third.
Kendrick, a good rip at 0-2. Singled his first at bat.
And as you mentioned, a 1-2. In other words, 1 ball and 2 strike count. And Brian just got a breaking ball up a little bit. So the luxury of being 0-2, you can pitch out of the strike zone. Try to get him a ball to chase it.
The 0-2 is bounced towards the middle. Hardy is there. He'll step on the bag and fire to first to get the double play to end it. And a nice job by Trumbo there trying to break it up. Angels get a run. They strand one. Mid-third at Camden Yard. 1-0 Angels. To you by Ocean City, Maryland. Make memories of your own this summer. Book your vacation at OCOcean.com. Way back in 1916, even before Jim Palmer's time, the Indians became the first major league club to field a team with numbered uniforms. And then in 1970, Frank Robinson of the O's 2 grand slams in the same game.
Over in Washington against the Senators. Yeah, I was looking at Frank's number. You know,
were you pitching that day?
No, I wish I was.
Yes,
Frank at age 20, 38 home runs, 290, 27 doubles, 6 triples at 20.
Here's Steve Pearson. He takes high.
It's one of the better Hall of Fame initial rookie years, because even Aaron, even Mays, even George Brett.
Robin Yount had a good one.
Not
that good.
It's pretty crisp right there. But again, just watch C.J. Wilson move the ball around. Adam Jones was talking about it. He gives you a lot of pitches to hit, but they're usually moving pretty well. And then again, up and in, strike after strike after strike, gets you in the swing mode.
And Kendrick has this one in shallow center.
And this is a perfect time to pitch, because I always felt the lights really don't take effect when you get into early summer till about 8:45. So if you can throw a lot of strikes, they don't see the ball as well as they will in about an hour.
Yeah, you can see still plenty of daylight left.
But again, you're kind of in that twilight time.
Right. See the sun shining on Steve Pearce there. Talking with Chris Davis. Here's Tollison. He fouls it back.
So 91, but again, right at you. And again, if you watch enough film, you know he's not going to mess around. And again, Mike Butcher saying we're just trying to get him to be aggressive. His stuff is certainly good enough. And he's got a quality breaking ball, a little bit of change up behind it. And there's that slider that he tries to bury at your back foot if you're a right-handed hitter.
Jim Presley, the Orioles hitting coach, following yesterday's day off. He had a group on the field before the game. Chris Davis was in the group. Steve Tollison, who's up, was in the group. Steve Pearce was in the group. And they were doing the soft toss drill on the field instead of doing it in the cage, so they could simulate the results, if you will. And Presley said that he's trying to get these guys, in particular Pearce and Tollison, to stay on top of the ball and get the barrel through the hitting zone. He said there's a little loop to their swing, and it's causing them to pop it up.
Well, I was reading with Mickey Hatcher leaving the Angels, there's Jim Presley, and the theory was, oh well, Jim Eppert, who's done a terrific job in the minor leagues, well, you just have to have a plan, and not as much the swing, it's the plan. Well, it's about the swing. You got to have a good swing and have a plan. So that's what Jim Presley's trying to do. I mean, you got to be able to understand what C.J. Wilson can do and what he can't, and he can do a lot of things. Look at those numbers. But at the end of the day, you better have a short swing, and that's what we talked about: long swing, loop in the bat. So you try to shorten the swing so you can get the barrel of the bat to the ball. And again, you've got about 0.4 of a second to figure out what the pitch is, where it's going to be, and how can I do that.
Hey, don't forget Saturday, Earl Weaver will be honored as part of the Orioles Legend Celebration. Yes, Jim, that Earl Weaver. His bronze sculpture will be dedicated in the center field picnic area. The ballpark gates open at 2 o'clock, ceremonies at 2:15, and all fans in attendance receive the replica Earl Weaver sculpture. So help us honor Earl. 888-848-BIRDER, online at Orioles.com. First base runner for the Orioles is a 1-out walk, and Robert Andino takes a strike. Robert 1 for 11 with no RBIs in 4 games since Brian Roberts returned to the lineup.
Well, he's not playing as much, but again, certainly capable of hitting an extra base hit. And we've seen him do that.
Waves at an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2.
See, but again, he got a fastball, strike one, inside corner. That's your fastball command. And you got the good breaking ball.
And the hitters are thinking, well, he's going to give me another one. Except
well, they don't. Right here, you don't know what he's going to do, and you have to cover all 4 corners of the rectangle, and hard and soft, in and out, up and down. That's why it's so hard to hit with 2 strikes. And the sooner you can get there, the easier it is to pitch if you can do that.
Wilson, an amazing career as a rookie with Texas in 2005, appeared in 24 games, only 6 starts. And then the next 4 years, he pitched exclusively out of the bullpen, and at times as a closer. And then he became a full-time starter, and he's now in his 3rd season as a full-time starter.
And not only did he become a starter, he became a good one.
Right.
And I figured, okay, well, he got a ton of runs, but he won 15 games with the Rangers, getting a little bit over 4 runs a game 2 years ago. So that's a heck of a year. Last year they got him over 5 runs a game, and not up there in the 6 and 7 like some of the Red Sox pitchers have been accustomed to getting.
1-2 is lined to third base and caught there by Asturias. So Andino right on the barrel, but he hits it to Asturias for the out. 2 men down.
Well, quality at bat. Bad result. A little breaking ball. He made a nice adjustment. Robert able to get the barrel of the bat and smoked it. But that's why it's funny when you come up as a young pitcher and you have overwhelming stuff. I was lucky enough to have that. C.J. Wilson has it. You figure, well, I'm going to strike everybody out. And then you realize, wait, there's 7 guys playing behind me. And there's a perfect example.
Let them play.
Well, yeah.
Let them earn their money. Here's Brian Roberts. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Well, for some reason, C.J. Wilson loves pitching on the road. I don't know, maybe he likes room service. Maybe it's comfortable on the road. Maybe you get into a better routine because all you have to do really is you get up at the hotel and you go to the ballpark so you get some work done. 0-1 pitches hit the shortstop. Big bouncer there for Ibar, and he'll fire to second to get the sliding Tollefson, and the inning ends. So 1 out walk and a man left. We're through 3. The Angels with a 1-0 lead. Trivia fact, the Orioles won their series against the Nationals in the finale. The 8th inning home run from Matt Wieters for the Birds, their American League leading 13th last at-bat win in 2012. And again, how do you do that? You have a good bullpen that keeps you in the game, and then you have hitters that are clutch hitters late in ball games.
Yeah, a lot easier to score 1 or 2, which we saw on Sunday, than to have to come back from 3, 4, 5 run deficits. And the one other amazing number, that's 7 and 6 with scoring 2 runs or less. Only American League team to do that. That boggles your mind.
Eric Ibar fooled by that pitch.
Well, in the old days, Elrod Hendricks, the bullpen coach, would be waving the white flag on that swing because it wasn't much of one. And again, he's red hot. 4-14 in the interleague.
And a bunt towards third. Tough play for Andino, and he won't get him.
Well, Jim, if you read all you got to do is read the notes. Nobody has more bunt base hits than this guy right here. So you play up on the grass. I mean, Robert's playing in, but you don't even let him think about bunting. That's 12 now. 12. 1-2. If we know that, it's just, then again, if you're pitching that day, you read the notes and you tell your third baseman to come in. It's the little things, because they're going to run you out of the ballpark if you let them.
Meister Isturis on what looked like a sacrifice attempt fouls it back.
There is no excuse to let Eric Ibar even think about bunting.
So he's got an 11-game hitting streak now with that bunt single, which is the longest hitting streak of the year by an Angel.
And to his credit, you give it to him, he took it.
It was a good bunt, yep.
Yeah. But it wasn't a good bunt if you're playing him. It's a horrible bunt. He wouldn't have bunted. I want him swinging. And that's I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. And again, you have to know these things. Not only the Orioles need, and I'm sure they probably did. Maybe Robert didn't, and Dino, but if you're Brian Mattis, hey, have you been reading the notes? Have you been watching how they've been playing?
That ball popped out behind second. Hardy is there, as that one rode in on his fist. So 1 away here in the 4th inning. Well, it's a time here for our Burger King game flow, and the flow of this game so far has been Brian Mattis being able to minimize damage, as the Angels already have 7 hits in this game, but yet only a 1-0 lead. The Orioles in 3 at-bats have had just 1 base runner, a walk to Steve Tollefson off C.J. Wilson. So the pitchers in this game going at it a little bit different way, but it's still only a 1-0 game. Here's Peter Borges, the number 8 batter. Mattis about to throw his 50th pitch in this game, and we're in the 4th inning. And he tries to bunt, and he pops it back. Borges has 4 bunt hits in his limited playing time.
No, again, over 500 at bats last year because of injuries, assorted injuries to Vernon Wells and Torrey Hunter. And again, the fact that he's a terrific center fielder. Hasn't made an error to this point and been in 53 games.
0-1 is outside, 1-1. Because the Orioles had last Thursday off and had yesterday off, Tommy Hunter is once again in the Oriole bullpen. And Buck Showalter said hopefully he wouldn't have to do this, but if Mattis had an early exit, he would likely go to the right-hander just to change it up, because there's Tommy out there. Mike Scioscia has 9 right-handed batters in there. Fly ball to center field. Jones moves in on it, and he's got it for the out and 2 men down. Of course, 2 of the batters, Ibar and Asturias, are switch hitters. They would flip over, but the other 7 are straight right-handed batters.
Well, you mentioned one thing, and Brian Mattis has done this probably the best of all the numbers. Yeah, they don't score him a lot of runs, so it's hard to win when you only get 3.45 runs. But the one number that jumps out with runners in scoring position, he's been good. 226 is a very low number.
He's allowed hits in every inning. 3 of the last 4 innings, the leadoff man got a hit. Breaking balls low to the number 9 batter, John Hester. No more than 5 2/3 in any of his last 3 starts. He has not won a game since June the 2nd when he won in Tampa Bay. And over his last 5 starts, he's gone 1-4, including that win, and a 5.26 ERA. 1-0 is taken high, ball 2.
So here, this is where you're not overpowering. You don't have your best fastball tonight. It's a fastball count. Hester had a pretty good swing the last time. You have to stay. I mean, this is what fastball command's all about. Either throw him a changeup or stay out of the middle of the plate. But again, see, that ball's pretty much belt high in the middle. But you have a guy that really doesn't. He only had, what, John Hester, 53 at bats coming into tonight. Got to stay down if you're throwing 89 miles per hour.
Mattis has just 1 win in his career against the Angels. This is his 5th start. He is 1-3 in the prior 4. 2-1 to Hester's line to left center field. On the run is Adam Jones. He's not going to get it, and it's down for a base hit. Flying towards third is Ibar. He'll be held by Dino Ebel, and the ball coming towards the plate, and he is out at the plate. Ibar, for some reason, ran through the sign of Ebel. Maybe he thought he'd catch the Orioles napping as Jones fired to second base. Alert defense by the Orioles, and they cut down the potential run at the plate. Perfectly done as Jones got it back into second base. The bouncing throw came in, and Brian Roberts saw Ibar running, and he fires to Wieters for the tag. So the play at the plate ends the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th in a 1-0 game. Masson is brought to you by AT 4G LTE with speeds up to 10 times faster than 3G. AT rethink possible. And by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios Quantum Speed. Internet twice as fast as anything America has ever seen. As we look down towards the field from the warehouse, Jim Palmer's office window, and what a play to end the inning. Adam Jones did a great job getting it back to the infield to keep the runner at third, except Ibar didn't want to stay at third.
No.
And he ran himself into one out.
That's a very good thing for the Orioles. Considering Mike Trout was coming to the plate.
So he didn't look at Dino Ebel, saw the ball bouncing to Roberts. And Roberts, and look at Dino Ebel in the background. Young man, I had my arms up. That means you don't go.
Well, if you're a player, and before the DH used to run the bases, used to actually pinch run my first year, had that recurring nightmare where you get picked off and you're trying to get back and you're like in quicksand and the ground's giving out underneath you.
I had that dream last night.
Okay, well, so now you know exactly what Eric Ibar. He's hoping, please drop it. Make a bad throw, because Mike Trout's coming up, one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and I just made a huge mistake.
And Brian Roberts alertly watching the runner round third, and then when he saw him take off, he just had to get the ball to Wieters. Hardy, high fly ball left field, Trout towards the line, and he will have a play, and he crosses over in the foul territory. So JJ is retired. He is now just 3 for his last 34, and one away here in the 4th inning. Well, what would you do if you had the chance to run the Orioles? Head on over to Facebook.com/Masson Orioles and enter to win dinner with Buck Showalter. It's your chance to go one-on-one with the Orioles manager. Plus, we'll let you bring a guest, and Masson will take care of the tab. So enter now on Facebook through July the 1st. Adam Jones grounded out to short his first at-bat. Takes a fastball high. Adam actually has one of the few positive streaks at the moment, and it's 3 in a row. He is 3 for 12 with a home run in those 3 games.
You know, he hit a bullet on Saturday night, but the height of the wall, right, screamer for a home run. And then to me, he got the big hit on Sunday when off of Sean Burnett, he hit a ball between first and second. Pitch was away. Burnett had done that on Saturday night, went with it. And for some reason, Burnett, who's much better away than in, tried to come in on Matt Wieters ahead in the count, and Matt hit the home run and the Orioles win. But a lot of times the way the team you're pitching against approaches you, and Adam had a great approach, that changes the way you think on the mound.
He is 7th in the American League with 19 home runs, and this is soft line drive to center field. That'll fall for a base hit, and the fans applauding the Orioles' first hit of the night.
Well, again, it's not a crisp line drive, but it's a great hitting approach because Adam stays inside of it. Watch how his hands stay in. The bat head stays behind, so it's a little inside out swing. And I think C.J. Wilson gets the ball where he wants to. You know, again, it doesn't drive it anywhere, but that's part of hitting.
So Adam now with a 4-game hitting streak, and that gets Matt Wieters up. Wieters 10 home runs on the year following his 2-run shot on Saturday. It was his 2nd batting right-handed. Hard hit ball and a base hit in the left field past the dive of Ibar. So the Orioles get 2 men on after 1 man down, trailing by a run. And Matt Wieters with his 4th hit on the homestand.
Oh, red hot, as we told you, coming in at 413 against left-handed pitching. You just see just a great angle right there of how he got that front foot down. And Ibar trying to make amends for what he did, that horrible base running move. And Adam Jones knows that Trout gets to it quickly. Here comes Mike Butcher. A little conversation. What are they going to do with Mark Reynolds?
The Angels starters have the best combined ERA in the American League. Their starters at 3.56, and the starters are responsible for 32 of their 40 wins.
Yeah, they're better at home. Their ERA about a 1/9 of a run better. The record 19-14 at home. when they get on the road. 13-11 ERA. It goes from 3.20 at home to 4.11. So you're hoping that somehow that'll play into a nice outcome if you're an Oriole fan.
Jones and Wieters on. The faster runner, Jones, the lead runner. And here's Mark Reynolds.
There is no doubt, Jim, as you know, and because you've been to Anaheim, that the ball carries a lot better here than it does in Anaheim.
Yep.
And maybe in day games out there.
Hard hit ball foul past DeMarlo Hale.
And Mark Reynolds actually one of the, at least over the last month or so, 31 games, been hitting well. A little bit under 290 with some power, 6 home runs.
Very good numbers with runners in scoring position.
And second best on base percentage. For a guy that strikes out that much, you wouldn't think that's the case, but people pitch to him very carefully.
You see Pujols well wide of the bag, not holding Wieters at first base, trying to cut off some of that hole the other way, and Kendrick is shading up the middle to keep Jones close to second.
And then Arbeyer plays him the pull.
And a bluff throw back.
It's really easy for Howie Kendricks just to, because he's almost about 4 steps from second. Again, if you're an Oriole base runner, you just want to make sure in any line drive it gets through the infield.
1-1 the count. And he takes it high, 1-1. Now let's see where Mark likes the ball. These are the batting averages in the different parts of the hot zone. So he likes it right down the middle. He likes it up and in and in, and down and in.
Well, again, look at the open stance. Open stance is where your front foot, which is his left foot, is farther from home plate. So you'll see that foot kind of come back towards the pitcher, but not a whole lot. So he's a much better inside half hitter, and those numbers just tell you that. So that's why the breaking ball from a right-hander is so effective. Now the lefty, the breaking ball, other than the changeups, coming towards him.
And now he has the count in his favor, 2-1. Jones takes off. Pitch is taken for a strike. Throw is high, and Adam Jones has third base. Adam may have done that on his own. He does have the green light. Wieters stayed at first. He thought he could get a jump, and he was right. Look at that jump.
He got a huge jump, and then he picked a breaking ball to run on.
And why that's important, now a sac fly can score a run. And Reynolds has 2 of them on the year. So 2-2. Reynolds took the pitch. He may have seen how big of a jump Adam got and figured, I'll wait one more and get Adam to third. So runners on the corners with 1 man down. That's Adams' 10th steal on the year.
And Reynolds actually 5 for 14, 345 in these cases. So unable to do it on Saturday night off of Edwin Jackson. Orioles were down 3-0. I believe it was the 6th inning. Runners at first and third with 1 out, and Jackson threw him some great sliders. But Jackson and Edwin almost perfect through the first 4, and then a right-handed pitcher. So a little different matchup tonight here at Camden Yards.
3-2 the count. Wieters draws a throw. That is the Orioles' first stolen base since June the 5th at Boston, as Adam steals third
for his 10th time.
Orioles have the fewest steals in the league. That's only their 23rd. So our first and third, 1 down, 3-2 the count. Oh, good hack, and he fouled it back.
Yeah, a little extra from some C.J. Wilson, but again, Reynolds just on it. He went from 90 to 92, trying to Mike Scioscia letting everybody know what's on. Wieters is not going anywhere. Even though Betemeet, much better hitter left-handed, he will come to the plate hitting right-handed. Not a lot of speed. Can't imagine he's going to be sent.
3-2 is popped up in the infield. Kendrick coming in on it. And a huge out for C.J. Wilson, 2 men down. Sounded like he broke his bat.
Egg just got it in on his fist. Take a look. Look where Hester is. Just a little cutter, slider. And it jammed himself. So now 5 for 15, still a very good average, but couldn't get it done there.
So a 7-pitch at bat for Reynolds, and here's Betemit, who has been clutch in these spots on the year. Runners on the corners with 2 men down. Curveball for a strike. Betemit has a 5-game hitting streak, 6 for 13 in those games. He's actually been swinging the bat very well, Jim. You look over his last 9 games, a .462 average. Protecting the outside corner, but he fouls it off, so he's down 0-2.
Yeah, he's such a better fastball hitter from both sides of the plate, and the guys that can match up can get ahead. Now, of course, the good news for Wilson, he got to see a curveball. I'm talking about Wilson Betemit, not for C.J. Wilson. So at least he gets to see the curveball. But you would imagine C.J. Wilson's going to try to pitch out of the strike zone, probably a slider down and in. And there it is. And even, I mean, that's an effective pitch because, number one, it moves his feet, changes his eyesight, eye line, and now maybe you're going to nibble down and away. And Mike Butcher, boy. Mike Flanagan, the late Mike Flanagan used to always say when he was a pitching coach, you don't have to worry about yourself, you got to worry about 12 guys. That's what pitching coaches do.
1-2, hard hit ball caught there by Kendrick. He'll throw to first anyway just to make sure. And the second base umpire said he did trap it, so the Orioles threaten cannot score. First and third and 1 down, and Wilson works out of it. Series finale, Jason Hamill will be on the mound against Jared Weaver. Coverage on MASN HD begins at 6:30 with those extra presented by Jeep, followed by game coverage at 7 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN. That is a real good pitching matchup for tomorrow.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jared Weaver, Jason Hamill, 2 big guys, 6'6", 6'7", I guess, and those ERAs, and they don't walk a whole lot of guys, and the batting average low. Jared Weaver coming off a back spasm, so he's back in action. And Jason Hamill, what a surprise he's been for the Orioles. 7-13 with the Rockies last year. And the Orioles' best pitcher so far here in 2012.
First ball swinging is Trout. Mattis has to hurry, and he gets it there in time. So 1 pitch out for Brian Mattis here in the 5th.
Well, there you go. Pretty consistent. Now, of course, the 3rd time through the order, you have a little bit of problem. But again, if you make good pitches, then that was a good slider. Mike Trout, certainly, a young hitter at 20. He chases out of the zone. Boy, you love to see that. And so, again, the one thing about Brian Mattis, that he's had, this is his 5th inning. In 3 of the 5 innings, he's given up the first batter has reached. 8 hits, yet only 1 run.
Right.
So We told you one of the outstanding numbers for Brian is with runners in scoring position. Only 227.
He was able to get a double play to end the third as the Angels were batting with a run in and 2 on with 1 down, and Kendrick bounced into a double play, and then they got the out at the plate when Ibar for some reason tried to score, even though his coach Dino Ebel had held him up. 0-2 the count on Torrey Hunter. There's a chopper towards the middle, and that's a base hit.
Boy, that is bad luck. Perfect pitch. And again, what do you do with this guy that can hit home runs? 23, 26. Look at the target. That ball's right on the outside corner.
Maybe swing.
Yeah, well, it's a 2-strike hit. And you don't usually see Camden Yards in front of home plate, the ball bouncing as quickly. So they've sped the field up a little bit. Nicole Sherry been down there with the Tampers. Well, maybe not in the show, but with people. She's like you. She has people, Jim.
No.
Not that. You don't have that many people.
No.
She's got all kinds of people.
Certainly not like you.
They're out in right center field.
They all have orange shirts on.
Yes.
That's how she can keep track. Pujols doubled and bounced into a force play. Fly ball left center and deep. Back on it is Tollefson, and that ball is out of here. Pujols has hit it out, and it's a 3-0 Angels lead. 12th of the year for Albert. So an 0-2 pitch single to Torrey Hunter to get Pujols up, and Pujols delivers.
Yeah, so home run number 12. So again, you can't come in, and again, this is probably the most velocity, but look where the bat head is. The ability to get the barrel of the bat to the ball. And here at Camden Yards, you hit it about, what, 370 to the power alley, and it just gets over the railing.
Our Kia Pitch Tracks brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Mattis gets ahead of Trumbo 0-1. Angels have had base hits in every inning in this game, and they now have 10 hits on the night. Trumbo 1 out of 2.
Yeah, it doesn't get a whole lot easier with Mark coming up, who last year hit 28 home runs and is actually 29 home runs in his rookie year. 87 RBIs. The one thing was the on-base percentage, and that's gotten a lot better. Big, strong guy. Home run power, right center, left center, you name it. And he's a local kid.
Yep. 18th round pick. That's good scouting.
Well, it really is, and it's also good developmental work by their minor leagues. And there's a good curveball.
Swings through it for a strikeout. That's number 1 for Brian and 2 away.
Well, you can't throw a curveball any better than this, and he gets ahead and just buries the curveball. It's kind of the way you pitch. And what I like is, he's not feeling real good about himself after the home run by Pujols, yet he comes right back and gets a guy that, again, has hit, 11 home runs his last 26 games. Red hot Mark Trumbo.
Ball in the dirt to Howard Kendrick.
Yeah, I'd like to see Brian Mattis start throwing every ball at the knees, and then once he's established down, and we've seen C.J. Wilson do that, that's when you come up in the zone.
Look out. Liner foul the other way.
Oh, a lot of strikes. Some of them have arrived a little bit too much in the middle of the plate.
Kendrick looking down towards the stands as that ball went screaming in there. One the count on him. And a foul straight back at the plate.
Yeah, I was listening to R.A. Dickey talk about how he tries to throw his knuckleball 2 balls above the catcher's mask. Right here, you want to throw that, whatever you're going to throw, right off the right shin guard. When I throw my curveball, I throw it at the catcher's left shoulder. Of course, I was right-handed, and so there's all these little visual aids that allow you just take a sanitary sock and put it right on the outside corner when you're doing your side sessions. You had a big target with Matt Wieters, who's 6'5".
Misses low, 2-2.
Because when Brian gets over his front side, which you've just seen, his velocity goes up. So that pitch at 92, the best velocity he has had all night.
Line through the middle at a base hit. That's 11 base hits in the game for the Angels. 3rd hit in this inning. And Kendrick's got a 2-hit night.
So take a look right here. Breaking ball. And it ends up right back in the middle of the plate. It was very similar to the one that Howie Kendricks, again with 2 strikes, hit back the middle in the 2nd. And that's what Howie Kendricks does. He uses, I mean, this is a guy that hit 385, 369 in the minor leagues. 369 at AAA. It's a pretty big number.
Ibar, a vicious swing, and he misses.
He's trying to make up for the base running error.
Ibar bunt single his last at bat, and Tommy Hunter, as we speculated, is now getting loose. Buck Showalter alluded to that in his pregame press conference. Bouncer to 3rd, tough hop, but Andino plays it and fires across, and the inning ends, but not before Albert Pujols hits one out. A 2-run shot is 12th, and the Angels now have a 3-0 lead. Flow, and the game flow of this has been about the pitching. One jam against Wilson, he got out of it. Brian Mattis, base hits in every inning, and the Orioles trail the Angels here in the opener 3-0. And welcome to the broadcast booth, Jim Hunter and Jim Palmer. And the Angels come in here a red hot team. They're hot up and down the lineup, and we're seeing why they're winning as frequently as they are, because they distribute the success, and their pitching really shuts down the opposition.
Well, he does, and you have a guy like C.J. Wilson. He's won his last 3 starts, 1.31 ERA his last 6 starts. Loves to pitch, as we mentioned, on the road. This team loves to play on the road. They've won 11 out of the last 12, and they're a very confident ball club, because when you get good pitching, and we haven't even talked about the back end of their bullpen. The back end of the bullpen, 8th and 9th innings, Downs and Frieri have given up 1 run all year long. So, again, you get them an early lead. Wilson, as you mentioned, he got the pop-up when you had a runner at 3rd with less than 2 outs just last inning. So, again, it's kind of going as we would expect, in the sense that the Orioles aren't scoring a lot of runs. Brian Mattis has pitched in and out of trouble, and then Pujols, they paid $240 million for him to do exactly what he did, hit home runs.
So Pujols hits it out. A 1-0 lead became a 3-0 lead. Here's Steve Pearce leading off. Tolleson and Dino will follow. And outside, 2-0 on Pearce. Wilson averages about 4 walks per 9 innings. In this game, he has allowed 3 base runners, a walk, and 2 singles. And taking high ball 3.
No, I think I probably averaged a walk every 3 innings, and he's on that pace. 2 years ago, we mentioned he did lead his first year as a starter He led the American League in walks. Of course, his manager's a former catcher. And everybody knows that he doesn't want to walk anybody, but the Orioles need base runners. They're not hitting that well. So you would imagine he's going to throw. It's kind of amazing when you're wild, you throw the ball through the middle of the plate. It probably usually doesn't go there, but it has a pretty good chance of maybe being a strike.
3-1, high fly ball to left. Back on a Trout. That ball has a chance, and that ball is gone. Steve Pearce takes the early BP into the game, and he hits his second home run, and the Orioles get on the board.
We've seen Steve Pearce have some big games for the Orioles in limited at-bats. They get him out of the Yankee organization that hit 11 home runs at AAA. Came up with the Pirates, and he's a terrific fastball hitter. And the 3-1 count gets him that fastball. So the Orioles need runners. They don't get a runner, they actually get a run. A home run trot.
Steve Tollefson with a base hit to center field. So the two pupils today in BP stay on top of the ball, stay back at a level swing, a home run and a single back to back.
So it's all a matter of getting good pitches to hit. And when you have a 3-0 lead, check this one out. John Hester sits in the middle of the plate. And then right here, belt high, middle of the plate, great approach, back up the middle. So you get a home run for your first run, and then you need runners, obviously. And you know this is exactly what C.J. Wilson didn't want to have happen. You want that shutdown inning, and the Orioles have said we're not going to allow that to happen.
And Dino inside, nice block by Hester. Boy, what that must do for a coach who suggests something, gets them out early, they go through the drills, and then they take it into the game. One hits it out, one rips a single to center field.
Well, it's all about it. There's not one hitting instructor that I've ever talked to, or any hitter, that it doesn't start with get a strike to hit, get a good pitch to hit. And that's what Pearce did. That's what Tollefson did. Now, your job as a pitcher is to try to stay away from that. And Wilson hasn't been able to do that here in the fifth.
Runner goes, pitch is taken outside, throw to second base, bounces safe at second base, and it gets away from Kendrick. So Tollefson steals the bag, his first of the year.
And again, this is all about scouting reports. I told you we were talking about it before. John Hester only throwing out 2 out of 15. That could be for a lot of reasons, but right here, first move. I mean, that's a straight steal. So the ball bounces. He's not going to get him anyway. And that hop, the ball, what, about a foot, and then off the glove of Howie Kendrick. Not far enough for Steve Tollefson to advance.
2 steals in this game by the Orioles. That is 11 against C.J. Wilson on the year. Maybe the only thing he doesn't do well, hold runners.
And now Pujols at first. Albert's going to come in because you have to, again, here in the 5th inning, you have to expect that Robert Andino, even though the count's 2-0, is going to take a shot to right field.
First 2 steal games since May 27th against Kansas City. Again, the Orioles don't run much, came in with the fewest steals in the league, but it's all about matchups. Buck Showalter knows if they can't throw you out, we're going to try it. And a few guys on the team that he has that he knows can run, they're running.
Yeah, and he knows that his counterpart, Mike Scioscia, will run you out of the ballpark if you don't control the running game. Of course, the Orioles don't have a problem with that with Wieters.
And it's high ball 4. So how about that? The home run, a single, and a 4-pitch walk. And the tying runs are on and nobody down. Well, let's go back a ways. 1956, lowest ERA in road starts. Bob Gibson, 2 Cy Youngs, 2.73. C.J. Wilson right behind Bob Gibson. You know what? I like this list. Everyone's in the Hall of Fame except C.J.
Well, it's early for him.
Early for him. Seaver, Whitey Ford, and Sandy Koufax. So you have
that's a pretty good company, wouldn't you say?
3 left-handers and 2 right-handers, and CJ trying to join that club. That, you know, the Cooperstown club.
I understand. But that's not his concern right now. His concern are Oriole base runners with a 3-1 lead. It's got to be a bunt situation.
Robert shows bunt. He takes it inside. He came in with a breaking ball.
Which I still go back. I mean, when I came up, we had Stu Miller and Harvey Haddix and Dick Hall. I mean, terrific bullpen. We also had Charlie Lau, who went on to be a great hitting instructor. And you're always taught to throw a fastball in a bunt situation, but you know one of the hardest pitches to bunt is a good breaking ball. So I am sure Mike Scioscia probably gives that sign, but again, you'll take the out here if you're C.J. Wilson. And yet that slider out of the strike zone. But they are anticipating a bunt from Brian Roberts.
1-0, he does bunt, he fouls it off. Brian does not have a sacrifice since coming back to the O's.
Really has never been much of a bunter, certainly for a base hit. Unable to get the bat out into fair territory, so it's almost impossible to get a ball fair.
Nick Markakis with Jim Presley.
The angle of the bat has to be the handle below the barrel of the bat, and it has to be out in fair territory if you're going to bunt.
Pulls the bat back. He has 45 sacks in his major league career. The only year he's done it liberally was 2004 when he had 15 sacks.
Of course, that was early on in his career.
So the more proficient he became as a hitter, they didn't ask him to give himself up.
And then he started hitting doubles and home runs.
So now a lot of possibilities for Buck Showalter. 2-1. Two good base runners out there. You know the pitcher's going to throw a strike. Maybe you put on the hit and run.
Well, you have a little bit of speed, but I still think he's going to be bunting.
And he is. He does square first base side. It's a beauty. Pujols has one play and the underhand toss to Kendrick. So the sacrifice successful for Brian Roberts, perfectly executed. Tolleson to third and Dino to second with one down.
Yeah, again, this time textbook. He gets the bat out front, maybe a little bit hard, but maybe he read the Los Angeles Times. Pujols threw a ball away on Saturday night in the first inning, and it cost him 2 runs. It's a play he said he made all the time, but right here with a 2-run lead, he just goes back. They take the out. And now again, another opportunity with less than 2 outs to get a runner in.
And here's the guy you actually like up here because he is long due. Hard hit ball, foul down the line.
Well, you can see if you watch the Orioles a lot, J.J. Hardy is a terrific fastball hitter. And all of a sudden, you mentioned the 2 for 34 now. They're throwing him a lot of breaking balls. You get a little bit anxious. You obviously know what you want to do. You want to either drive one into the outfield, fly ball, or make it 3-2. But Wilson threw him ball 1, and he hit it foul.
63 at-bats since his last home run for J.J. The 0-1, he swings at a pitch that tails outside, 0-2.
So when you struggle, you're not waiting. They've changed the pattern on him. He did hit 30 home runs last year. And that's a pitch he hardly ever swings at. 92, up and away, out of the zone.
J.J. 1 RBI in his last 8 games. Brian Roberts moved the runners along with a perfect bunt. And the 0-2 is lined. And is he out? Yes, he's out. Caught by the shortstop Ibar. Oh, that ball was hit hard, but right at Ibar. The third base umpire looked at the second base umpire, and then Kerwin Daly said, yep, he caught it.
Well, all your base runners are going back to the bag because it's hit right at the shortstop. And they're all going to wait for it to get by him, and of course it doesn't. Pretty good approach by JJ, but this is what they're all looking at. Really hard to tell whether he caught it or not. But either way, he's going to come up and make the play. Nobody could advance because you don't want to get doubled up. So we've had Wilson Betemit hit a screamer to Kendricks. So again, the Orioles still looking for that elusive runner in scoring position. Came in and won for their last 33.
Here's Adam Jones. And it's inside 1-0. That's actually Doug Eddings at second base. The umpire rotation, they must have switched it because Kerwin Danley's at first. So it was Eddings that made the call.
There is Kerwin Danley. The umpiring behind the plate tomorrow night.
1-0 on Adam, 2 on and 2 out, and a bluff back to second base.
And again, glowing numbers with runners in scoring position for C.J. Wilson, 226. It's about 35 points lower than the league average.
And he takes it in there for a strike. Some kind of off-speed pitch it looked like. Floated in there anyway. Little
floated right on the inside corner, and Adam took it. And there's Adam's numbers. So again, about 20 points higher. Last year hit 284 with runners in scoring position. Had a nice year driving in runs.
1-1 the count. Hit towards the middle, but there's Kendrick. And he will get it to first, and Wilson pitches out of another jam as the Orioles strand 2 in scoring position. But Steve Pearce gets the Orioles on the board. His second of the year will head to the 6th, 3-1 Angels.
Right here, try with a line drive. The Orioles with the relay play. Eric Ibar, for some reason, runs through the stop sign. Orioles out of trouble. 1-0 at this time, and Albert Pujols with his 12th home run of the year, 2-run shot, and then on a 3-1 fastball off of C.J. Wilson. Steve Pearce, second home run of the year to make it 3-1 Angels. So Pujols again with a 2-run shot. Pearce with a solo. C.J. Wilson again in and out of trouble, a little bit better than Brian Mattis with 11 hits still on the mound for the Orioles.
11 hits, most he's ever given up in a game, and he deals a strike to Esteuras, lower third of the lineup. So Jim, what he needs to do is what you said Wilson was unable to do. His team scored a shutdown inning. Hard hit ball towards the hole, and a base hit. There's another leadoff single by the Angels in this game. They have base hits in every inning on the night and 12 in the game. Well, we hope you can come out here Thursday. First 10,000 fans 15 and over receive a Vote Orange Orioles All-Star Game t-shirt. Orioles and Indians at 7:05. Show your support for the Orioles and vote as they look to vie for starting positions on the AL All-Star team. Get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing tonight, first of all, the Angels over the last 30 games with 9 right-handed hitters averaging about 5 runs a game. But we're also seeing that just because you throw a changeup, and that was what Ibar hit, it has to have depth. It has to have movement. You have to finish that pitch. So when they stay up a little bit, the fact that it's 7 miles per hour slower, it's just not that effective. So movement, such an important part of pitching, and then you couple that with location, you got a chance to get hitters out.
So the single by Kendrick in the 5th tied his career high at 11. So now he's established a career high 12 hits allowed as his Esteuras singles leading off here in the 6th. 4th time in 6 innings.
And look at those numbers. I don't think Buck Showalter's not aware of those. That's why the bullpen is becoming active again.
Popped them up foul. That'll be back in the crowd.
Yeah, that's not where you want your changeup to be. Around the letters. Buck noticed that. Rick Adair on the left. He actually threw batting practice today. Former left-handed pitcher to simulate C.J. Wilson.
Yep, he got one group.
The slider not quite as sharp as C.J.'s, but almost there.
I asked Jim Presley, I said, does he get a couple of groups because he's the only lefty you have? And he said, well, actually, no, because he's got a pitcher's meeting in 5 minutes. So he gets the first 3 guys, and Wieters was in that group because Wieters had to go to the pitcher's meeting.
Where was Brady Anderson?
I think he was shagging.
Doesn't he throw BPs every once in a while? I think he does.
He may have today, but I didn't see him. I know he's in uniform.
I mean, the reason I say that, obviously, because he's left-handed.
Right. Can't Bordick pitch both ways? He does everything.
Yeah, it does. Give him a week. Let him learn.
2-2 pitch aside, ball 3. Bordick's next assignment, I understand, will be when Nick Markakis is ready. He'll be with Nick as he rehabs to get his way back to the Orioles. Wherever that might be. Might be here, might be in the minors, might be in Sarasota, might be in Ruxton. 3-2 the count, and the runner goes, swinging a high fly ball to left field. Tollison back on it, and that one's going to sail out of here. Borges hits it out, a 3-2 pitch, and the Angels add to their lead. It's now a 5-1 game. A pair of 2-run home runs in this game, and Mattis has now allowed 5 runs on 13 hits, and that'll be it for him.
Now, 3rd home run for Peter Borges, who hit 12 of them last year.
So an ineffective night for Brian Mattis. The Angels now have a 4-run lead, leading at 5-1. 5 earned runs on the night, and the Angels have a 5-1 lead. Plus 2 batters, 13 base hits. He allows 5 earned runs, 4 coming in on the 2-run home runs. Did not walk a batter, 1 strikeout, 82 pitches to get through 5 innings plus 2 batters.
Well, Tommy Hunter will try to come in and stem the bleeding. Certainly could have been worse. So again, you're down by 4 runs. So Tommy, who very rarely ever walks anybody, but again, the batting average close to 300.
Down and away to Hester.
Take a look right there. Again, those are the numbers that translates into. And then look at the home runs. Lefties, 18 home runs. Well, we'll see if the velocity. First time we saw Tommy last summer when he came over from the Rangers, he was 95, 96.
That was August the 2nd in Kansas City. Buck got him right into a game the day he joined the team. 2-0 is fouled back. Pretty good giddy up on that fastball at 94.
Well, that's harder than any pitch he has thrown as a starter. So we'll see if he's able to. And, you know, Brian Mattis has to be very disappointed because it came in with a .360 batting average in the American League against him, or at least. So again, that number will probably stay pretty much where it was. So here's Tommy Hunter, 94-95.
Remember when the Orioles made the decision when David Hernandez was on the team that he would work out of the bullpen and wouldn't start, and his fastball jumped up to 98?
Well, it did in San Francisco that night. He almost hit 100. Well, I don't understand why. And I pitched. If you can throw 95, you can throw 95. It doesn't mean you have to throw every pitch 95. That's not the way you pitch anyway.
3-2 has popped up. Shallow right, long run for Pierce. Still coming, still coming, still coming. Makes a sliding try, but it's foul.
Yeah, high sky, hardly any clouds, and then a long run. Yeah, he's out there deep in right center field, and the good news for the Orioles, that ball about a foot foul. John Hester, of course, would love to have a double. That's what it would have been, but you can see maybe even 6 inches foul.
Good job by Kerwin Danley getting down the line to get a better view of that.
Yeah, and
Wayne
he's going to tell.
now
Yeah,
saying,
well, yeah. Wait, let's play where
he might hit it.
Well, that's kind of my point. But you helped me right there. Big arrow.
There's a bouncer to base it into left field. Wow, the Angels swinging the bat tonight. So there's a single. First batter to face Tommy Hunter. We hope you can tune in tomorrow. The Mid-Atlantic Sports Report, 5 until 6:30. Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, and Mel Antonin have the latest on the Orioles. They'll wrap up this 2-game series against the Angels. Also, Amber will sit down with Mike Trout. That's tomorrow at 5 p.m. right here on MASN.
Now you look at this Angel team and you see they're 11th in runs, but not lately. Not since Mike Trout came up in May. I mean, this is a totally different team. Pujols is hitting. We've seen that tonight with a 2-run home run.
Runner goes. Pitch is swung on and fouled back. So Mike Scioscia playing for some more. He sends the number 9 hitter, the catcher, puts him in motion.
Well, again, he understands who's at the plate. Mike Trout, we saw a little bit of this last year. He's a inside-out hitter. He's going to hit home run because he's a big, strong kid, and only 20. But again, he's able to stay inside the ball. You don't hit 400. I don't care what league you're playing in, like he did at AAA. I mean, he's a contact hitter. He can hit the ball on the ground. He can hit it right center over the best of them.
Shows bunt, takes a strike. Fastball right there. Tommy worked last Tuesday. As you see, Mike Scioscia flashing the signs to Dino Ebel, who flashes the signs to Hester and the hitter Trout. Tommy, a losing pitcher against the Mets. He did go 6 1/3, but he allowed 5 runs on 7 hits. That was the night, the second straight night, the Orioles were shut out by the Mets. Look out in the stands. And another screamer back there.
Yeah, 94 in on the fist. Well, again, at an 0-2 count, you run the ball in, take a shot. Try to throw a good slider down and away, but make it be a ball. You got a couple of pitches to work for. Because the problem with that is, even if he hits a ground ball, it's not going to be 2 because of his speed. Now they're coming back in.
0-2, and he got him. Real good pitch.
Well, look at the movement. So we're seeing Tommy Hunter throwing the ball with much more conviction out of the bullpen. What's the movement on this 2-seamer? I mean, great finish to it. It starts on the corner and then just dives down and in.
Tonight's pitch track brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that delivered inspire. Here's Torrey Hunter now. He's got a 2-hit night. And there's a strike. 5 of the 9 batters have multi-hit games for the Angels.
Yeah, you look at the bottom of their lineup. Mesa Asturias came in at 217, Borges at 229, Hester at 245, and Hester's a couple of hits. home run by Borges, 2 hits by Astures.
And all 9 hitters in the lineup have at least 1 base hit. Hunter gets ahead 0-2. There's a bouncer towards second. Might be too slowly to turn 2. But Brian Roberts alertly gets the lead runner, knowing they were only going to get 1 out. So that is a fielder's choice. Hester out at second and 2 men down. Our SunTrust Inside the Numbers, exploring your financial options. SunTrust can help you find new ways to move forward. Well, the Orioles bullpen this season best in the majors at 2.30. 4 relievers, 30 or more innings pitched, with an ERA under 2. Jim Johnson, Pedro Strop, Darren O'Day, and Luis Ayala. Jim Johnson has converted 22 of his 23 saves. The one he didn't convert, he got the win in. And the bullpen overall 15 wins, most in the American League. They have been so good on the year. And at least for the moment, Tommy Hunter part of that group.
Yeah, and he wondered where that curveball was to Albert Pujols. It's a good one, but called low.
Albert 2 out of 3. And it's outside, 2-0. But you know, you wonder, I'm sure Tommy Hunter wants to remain a starter, and somebody has to start Saturday. That'll be the next time the Orioles need a 5th starter. But you wonder if this might be a role where he might be able to excel, because look at the lineup he's facing here. It was set up for a lefty starter. So 7 of the 9 hitters are right-handed batters, and he comes in and he's able to get out of a jam after a base hit. Fly ball to center. There's Jones, and he's got it. So Hunter gets out of it without any further damage, but Peter Borges with a 2-run home run, and the Angels add to their lead. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Birds down 5-1. Tune in, brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, Amber and Rick standing by. They'll have all the analysis of the game. You'll hear from Buck Showalter, his press conference, player interviews, and more. That all comes up on O's Extra Postgame, presented by PNC. Beautiful night downtown. It's not quite Cosmos moon, but it's getting there.
Okay, so are you a glass half empty, or?
No, I'm a half full guy.
So
there you go.
That's a little bit more than a full moon. I mean, a half moon, right?
Right. Well, I would agree.
Okay.
I just like the moon from Moonstruck. You know, the full moon.
Bella Luna.
Matt Wieters will lead off against C.J. Wilson. 72 pitches to get through 5 innings, but he's got a 4-run lead.
Yeah, only the home run to Steve Pearce. Not that he hasn't been into trouble. On 2 occasions, runners at third with less than 2 outs, able to get out of both of those situations. One's at third, one's in second and third.
Orioles have left 5 on over the last 3 at-bats, including 2 each in the last 2 innings. Outside ball 1-1-1.
And he's been able to do it by either making good pitches, maybe adding a little bit. We saw him do that to J.J. Hardy. He's also gotten a little bit good fortune, a couple of line drives right at people. But the ability to stay out of the middle of the plate. I mean, right there, we have a 400 hitter against left-handed pitchers, and he fouled it straight back because, we're talking about Matt Wieters, because the ball was in on his fist right on the corner.
Matt went 66 at-bats between home runs until he homered Sunday. And if you're going to break a drought, make it count, and he did.
Well, not only did he homer, it was a blast.
Yep.
Very timely blast because the Orioles were down 1-0 bottom of the 8th inning. But he hit it. Well, they caught it. Actually would have gone into the bullpen right at the bench.
Hard hit ball towards the hole. Diving stop by Asturias. He gets up and throws low, and it's beyond Pujols, and Wieters will reach. Tremendous play on the front end, not so on the back end.
And it's probably going to be an error because he made such a great play to get to it. Because once you get up, all you have to do is make a good throw. Great perspective right here. I mean, look at that range. Just get up. I mean, and then he bounces it. And then the ball doesn't come up at all. To get the normal hop, Pujols is one of 2 Gold Gloves. He's a very good fielding first baseman. You could see the look on his face. Normally a catchable ball.
So that is a throwing error on Asturias, his 5th on the year.
It's a perfect example of guys that have great range. A lot of third basemen don't even get an error because they don't get to it.
Reynolds takes ball 1. Angels are 8th in the league in fielding. That's their 45th error as a club.
The Orioles came in with the most errors, but the Tampa Bay actually has a little bit lower fielding percentage.
Reynolds pops it up shallow left center. Borges flying in on it. Now he waits and puts it away for the out. 1 down as Reynolds retired. He is 0 for 3. Fans, the next fireworks night comes your way on Friday as the Orioles take on the Indians at 7:05. A beautiful post-game display that will light up the skies downtown. Get your tickets in advance and save by calling the Orioles at 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com. That is always a lot of fun. They do a great job with those fireworks. So come out and join us here on Friday night.
The Indians are in town.
Yep. 4-game series. Buck Showalter was talking before the game about the scheduling. The Orioles and Angels will play 9 times, 7 in Anaheim, 2 here. And when Kansas City was here, we were talking to their broadcasters. They'll play the Orioles 9 times, but 7 times here and only 2 in Kansas City. Foul back. Orioles will be in Anaheim for a 4-game series that'll close out the first half. That is at the tail end of next week.
And what the Angels are 22-17 at home, 18-16 on the road. But again, to give you an indication, they've won 11 out of the last 12 on the road. So this is an entirely different club that started out the season at 6-14. Well, had a 5-game losing or 6-game losing streak, 5-game winning streak. But now much more consistent.
2-1 on Betemit. Wieters at first with 1 down. Ooh, he thought he had ball 3. Instead, it's a strike.
You'd rather be hitting 3-1 than 2-2. Dana DeMuth, take a look right here, and he just thought it was inside, and it appeared to be.
2-2 on Betemit. And a base hit into left field. He just got it past Eric Ibar. A soft line drive. So 2 on with 1 out as Wieters stops at second. Here's a look at our Olive Garden game flow, and all of a sudden we've had 3 home runs in this game. Steve Pearce is coming up. He's responsible for the Orioles run on a solo shot. On the Angels side, C.J. Wilson getting support. Albert Pujols with a 2-run home run. And Peter Borges with a 2-run home run. So 4 of the 5 Angels runs coming in on those 2 swings.
And the book, I would imagine, on Steve Pearce from watching him hit is try to stay away from the fastball. Just stay out of the middle of the plate. Try to get him out with breaking balls, change ups, and breaking balls. There's one, but he misses. And the home run came on a 3-1 count with a 3-0 lead, and he got a great pitch to hit and didn't miss it. He's got a very quick bat.
Wieters the lead runner, Betemeet the trail runner with one down. And a good take outside ball 2. Wilson averages 10.7 base runners per 9 innings. That's real good. That's 9th best in the American League. That's really just over 1 base runner per inning. Anytime you're in the 10s or even better below 10, you're doing real well.
And he also, and you talked about the home runs, so he's given up 3 home runs to right-handed batters, 2 to lefty. Almost 2-to-1 ground ball to fly ball.
Ball. Ooh. A strike.
So the strike zone is moving for Dana DeMuth here in the 6th inning. Well, very hard to see that outside corner when you're sitting on the inside corner. Got to look all the way across the plate.
Low, ball 3. So Wilson, the home run by Pierce, the first home run allowed in his last 8 starts. He had gone 7 in a row without allowing him, and all 5 home runs on the year now, all solos. Wieters and Betemeet, first and second.
So same count as last time, and he homered. Let's see what kind of pitch he gets this time. It was a fastball, middle of the plate.
Hard hit ball, base hit left field. Wieters will go to third. He'll be held by DeMarlo Hale as Trout got to it quickly. So the Orioles have loaded the bases with 1 down, keeping the pressure on C.J. Wilson. Will they be able to break through as Pierce has a terrific at-bat?
So you got yourself a 4-run lead. He's homered. You try to throw the breaking ball. You miss with a fastball away. You get a pitch. Now it's 3-1, and again right down the middle of the plate. And from what we've seen of Steve Pierce, you can pretty much expect that because he doesn't miss fastballs. He's a good fastball hitter. And that loads him up.
Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, out for a chat. Buck Showalter's team, they've been getting men on since the 4th inning. Through the first 3 innings, the Orioles had 1 base runner. 2 hits in the 4th. 2 hits and a walk in the 5th. And 3 base runners here in the 6th, including the error. And there's the veteran Jason Isringhausen, who's now with the Angels. He's beginning to get loose.
Yeah, he's of course, this whole bullpen since early in the year when they were 1-6 with a 7-point ERA has really been pitching well. So Tollefson got a fastball to hit and hit it into center field for a single his last time up.
And patiently looks over ball 1.
That's the 89th pitch for C.J. Wilson. So trying to get away from having to throw a fastball. And his manager and pitching coach hopes he's able to do that. The Orioles are just hoping to get another pitch in the middle of the plate. And we've seen Tollefson hit home runs, 2 of them. One of them a 3-run shot off of Cliff Lee. But a single would get you right back into the game. A little changeup.
Good cut, and he fouled it back. So Steve Pierce, who worked with Presley before the game early hitting, he's 2 for 3. Tollefson, who worked with Jim Presley, has walked and singled. First time in his big league career with the bases loaded. Will he be able to come through? The Orioles keep knocking on the door. They're trying to crash on through. Popped him up. Shallow center, out as Howie Kendrick, called off by Borges. And he makes the grab, and there's the huge second out for C.J. Wilson.
That's the 3rd time tonight. Orioles have failed to get a runner with less than 2 outs from third base. And again, the runners in scoring position numbers. 1 for 33 coming in. What are they now? 0 for 7? I think we saw an 0 for 6 earlier. And that can all change with 1 swing.
1 swing, yep. Robert Andino getting a start at third base tonight. He lined out hard, a vicious line drive right at third baseman Myceris Turris. That was in the third inning. Then he walked in the fifth.
Actually, they did get a base hit with the runners in scoring position, but they couldn't. It was the left field.
Hard hit ball to third. Astoris Fields. He'll run to the base, tag up, and the Orioles leave the bases loaded. So another missed opportunity by the Birds. We'll head to the seventh. Angels holding on to a 5-1 lead. And Jonathan Schoop, after a slow start, really starting to turn it around. In his last 9 games, batting at a .306 clip, 11 base hits, including 4 home runs, 7 extra base hits, and 7 RBIs. So for the 20-year-old, a .250 average, 6 home runs, and 24 RBIs in 64 games for Double-A Bowie. Manny Machado also was turning it on late.
Maybe Terry Crowley took a little visit down there. The Crow.
He did, actually.
Oh. Well, no big surprise then.
You have to like what the Orioles have done this year with both Machado and Schoop, 2 very young players. Manny's still 19 and Schoop is 20. This ball's hit the center field off the bat of Trumbo, and that ball's going to go.
Well, now, you know how far that ball just went? That's about 440. And this was a guy they wanted to trade because they got Paul Holtz. He was a first baseman. He hit 29 home runs, didn't hit well enough with runners and on base. His on base percentage last year, 18 home runs, 29 last year. This is, I mean, typical hanging curveball, but just look how far he hits this baseball. Look at this load, and this ball belted. That's one of the farther home runs ever hit here at Camden Yards. I mean, over the bullpen railing. I remember Eric Davis hit one to the base of the wall. It was 440 something.
The longest ever hit here at Camden Yards by Darryl Strawberry off Mike Messina. He hit the batter's eye, I would say 3/4 of the way up on that big green wall out there. That ball just kept on going. Ground ball foul past Alfredo Griffin. So Tommy Hunter, who has had success in this game with his fastball, gets hurt by breaking pitch.
You got to use all your pitches. You just, I mean, I've been out there. I've done that. You hang it. They're supposed to hit it, and he did. I'm never a big fan of a first pitch curveball because the get me over curveball, if you just get it over, which that's what that was, that's what happens.
0-2 on Howie Kendrick.
I'd rather throw the curveball and you can throw it underneath the strike zone. Like that.
Got it.
Yeah. See, that's the way you use your breaking ball. And I never second guess. You know, obviously Tommy didn't want to hang the curveball to Trumbo, and he did. And here's the good one. Maybe he gets Howie Kendricks to wave at it. It's a matter of making good pitches. And even though we've seen C.J. Wilson in and out of trouble tonight, more times than not, he's been able to do that in clutch situations.
Eric Ibar takes high.
Now he's not pitching against a lineup that is as good as his lineup because of injuries for the Orioles.
Right.
Now you can say those are excuses, but that's reality. No Markakis, no Nolan Reimold.
Foul straight down at the plate on Eric Ibar, switch hitter batting left. So the first Angel to bat left-handed in this game. Meiser Turris, who's on deck, is also a switch hitter. He batted last time against Mattis, so he'll bat left-handed. 1-1 on Ibar, who's 1 out of 3 with a bunt single, and Tommy Hunter misses high. Angels now have 15 base hits. Couldn't get around on it. And fouls it back 2-2. Here the defense straight away on Eric Ibar. This one slapped to left field, chasing Tollison back, and he gets to it and has it for the out. So 2 down here in the 7th inning. Fans, Orioles pitcher Jason Hamill will be at the official Orioles team store in the York Galleria Mall on Friday 11 until noon, so don't miss your chance to meet Jason, get an autograph, and talk baseball about the 2012 O's. That's this Friday 11 until noon at the Orioles official team store in the York, Pennsylvania Galleria Mall. For all details, just get online OriolesReach.com. Meiser Turris breaking ball for a strike.
I believe York, I never played there. I used to go up to the Sports Center every year. We have a lot of fans, but when Elmira was the AA team, that's York was in that Eastern League.
Mm-hmm. That's where Brooksy started.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a bouncer to second base. Brian Roberts is there. As Turris is out and the inning ends, Angels add another. The home run by Mark Trumbo. 7th inning stretch at Camden Yards. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Fly straight. Drink responsibly. Which for the Angels has been all about the bats. 3 home runs, a 6-1 lead, and C.J. Wilson may have pitched himself into a few jams, but he's also pitched himself out of a few jams. And welcome into the booth, Jim Hunter with Jim Palmer. And one of those games you see what a quality pitcher can do. C.J. Wilson came in on a roll, his team is on a roll, and he is just continuing what they've been doing.
Well, he has the lowest earned run average in the American League, and probably not at the top of his game tonight. The Orioles, again, with injuries, maybe not the most formidable lineup. They've really battled, but every time he's needed to make a big pitch, he's been able to do that. 3 times they've had runners at third with less than 2 outs, yet they haven't scored. They scored on the home run by Steve Pearce. And while all this is happening, they've hit 3 home runs. And Brian Mattis obviously got to be disappointed because he hasn't pitched well in his last 4 or 5 starts. And again, the Angels got a lot of good pitches to hit tonight.
So Brian Roberts will lead off here in the bottom of the 7th, and he takes a strike from C.J. Wilson. Hardy and Jones will follow, top of the lineup for the Orioles. And it's a little low, 1-1 the count, so the Orioles need base runners. 3 innings to go here. Angels have scored in 4 of their 7 at-bats. Ryan fouls it back, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, kind of not a critical. I don't know if there's any critical inning when you're ahead 6-1, but told you the fact that Scott Down, who pitches the 8th inning, and sometimes he already has 6 saves, the 9th inning, he's only given up 1 run, and Ernesto Frieri, who they got from San Diego, has yet to give up a run. So the back end of their bullpen, as we saw in Washington, as we see in most good ball clubs, extremely hard to score runs off of.
2-2 on Roberts, who is 0 for 2 plus a sacrifice bunt. High fly ball to right. Right there is Torrey Hunter. And 1 away in the Orioles' 7th inning. Time for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates. How about Steve Pearce, Oriole home run for their only run. Albert Pujols, a 2-run home run. Or Peter Borges, a 2-run home run. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard. A, B, or C to 31826. J.J. Hardy is 0 for 3. He had a line drive his last at bat with runners at 2nd and 3rd, but he hit it right at Eric Ibar. Look at there with Tommy Hunter. There's a strike taken, and it's 0-2. Kevin Gregg getting loose for the Orioles. Is fouled back.
Yeah, that's the most velocity C.J. Wilson tried to go up the ladder. Of course, J.J. hadn't seen too many fastballs, and when he does, they're either way in or way away, and he just leaped at it.
Now over 100 pitches for the night. Strike 3 call on the outside corner, so Hardy is 0 for 4.
Well, take a look again. 3 for 36 now for J.J. They try to go in, the ball filters right back into the middle of the plate, but when you have a quality hitter that's 3 for his last 36, he's not seeing the ball very well. You know, he's gotten pitched to, a lot of quality pitches, but again, I think emotionally it's tough because he doesn't want to be 3 for his last 36.
2 outs, nobody out for Adam Jones, who's 1 out of 3. Breaking balls outside. Adam now with a 4-game hitting streak. He's got 18 hits in his last 15 games. Inside ball 2. Orioles have been outscored 6-1 and out hit 15-6. High strike, 2-1.
The wandering strike zone the last 2 innings. High, low, outside. Not a lot, just
ball 3. Markakis with Nick Johnson. High fly ball to center field. Did he get enough of it? Borges back. Looks like he has a play, and he has it for the out. So Adam to straightaway center field, and the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the 8th at Camden Yards. Angels with a 6-1 lead. Dining, the ultimate triple play at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Well, the saves leaders in the American League, Chris Perez of the Indians with 23, but Jim Johnson right behind him with 22. And the Orioles as a bullpen have the most saves in the league with 26. Pedro Strop has 3, Ayala 1 to go with Jim Johnson's 22. So the Orioles, when they get to Jim Johnson, it's money in the bank.
Well, that's what you want to do. You want to have a lead to really get to Strop, and then Johnson, your setup guy. Kevin Gregg used to be the closer. So again, he actually pitched for the Angels, picked for Mike Scioscia all the way back in 2003. Actually, he started a couple of games, not too many. So he's been, I mean, the last couple of times he gave up some runs, but I was talking to him, I guess on Friday, and he said, just trying to stay sharp. And this is a guy that pitched every time they had a lead last year. And again, he probably too many hits and walks per inning. But he's actually done a pretty good job in this role.
He has not worked, Jim, since last Monday in New York, in which he pitched 1 inning and allowed 1 run on 2 hits. But
yeah,
he did have 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, I was talking to him. It's just about every time you play catch, because again, when you pitch, you have to be able to feel the ball. You have to have that touch. And just remember Gaylord Perry. That was a good curveball. Gaylord Perry never threw between starts. Neither did David Wells. I always did. But so I said, when you play catch, pretend, simulate what you're trying to do in a game. How the ball's coming off your fingers, because when you pitch, you have to have that feel.
1-2 on Borges. And he fouls it back. Lovely night for baseball at Camden Yards.
It's a lovely night for anything. I mean, it really is.
Good point.
This, everybody was describing it as a California type of day and evening. I was just hoping that the Angels would think that, seeing they've won 11 out of their last 12 on the road. And not that they don't play well at home, because they do, but they don't play that well.
2-2 is fouled back.
So Peter Borges, you could see, just trying to stay on top of the ball, because he's a keep it out of the air, but if you aren't going to put it in the air, hit it deep enough where you can hit a home run like he did off of Brian Mattis.
Another 2-2 pitch outside, ball 3.
His dad, Chris, a scout for, I believe, the San Diego Padres.
Here's the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and he got him.
Yeah, good slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. To me, it was a slider because of the finish on it. I mean, he throws it for the corner and it just keeps moving away from the right-hander, and that's what a good slider does. Slides, watch it. And then if you're 6'6", like Kevin Gregg, you get the good tilt.
So Gregg gets the strikeout, 1 away. John Hester, the catcher, takes outside.
Well, he's done a nice job. A couple of hits. He's steered C.J. Wilson to this point in the game with maybe not his best stuff, but only 1 run, solo home run.
Curveball gets in there, 1-1.
Well, Kevin Gregg, if you go back when he signed in 2002, but when he came up with Oakland, he was a starter early on. And of course, you look at some of the great relievers of all time: Raleigh Fingers, Dennis Eckersley, Lee Smith. We can go down. Stu Miller, the great changeup pitcher, was a starter.
Well, this Angels team, they have just been on a roll. They have 40 wins on the year, and 34 have come since April the 28th. They are 34-19 since that day. That is the best record in all of Major League Baseball. 2-2 is outside, ball 3. And how do you do that? They have won 9 of their last 10 series. You and I talk about that all the time. Win 2 out of 3, move on. They've done that 9 of the last 10 times.
And again, with the best pitching in baseball, or at least in the American League, and the best starters, a little easier to do that. You just know what you're going to get. And again, they have a nice blend of power and speed, which you like. Now, of course, they do play in the same division with the Rangers.
Right.
It's going to be a terrific race in the American League West.
Deep to left field, and that ball's going to go. John Hester, the number 9 batter, one-time Oriole farmhand, has a 3-hit night. It's his second solo home run. He has 2 RBIs. And the Angels, with a 4th home run of the night, now lead it 7-1.
Now, John did play at AAA Norfolk last year for the Orioles, and he hit 5 home runs, hit 251. Started the year in Reno. Boy, when you watch from there, just look at the barrel of the bat, able to get it to the sweet spot. So that night gets even better.
So each of the Oriole pitchers has allowed at least a run. And 6 of the 7 runs for the Angels have come in on home runs. Strike taken, 1-1 the count on Mike Trout, the leadoff hitter. Trout is 1 out of 4. He doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. That was the first run of the game. And a soft line drive towards right field. Pierce charging in, and he'll get there in time. Good hustle there by Steve Pierce, and 2 away. Well, with 4 strikeouts in the game tonight, John has won a total of $900 from the Maryland Lottery. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, play Strike It Rich scratch-offs and enter your non-winning ticket codes at mdlottery.com/strikeitrich. Torrey Hunter swings through it, 0-1. Isringhausen and David Carpenter. Carpenter in the background and Isringhausen in the foreground.
Young and old.
Oh, 0-2 as he hits the outside corner. Torrey Hunter has a 2-hit night. He has singled twice and scored as an RBI. He drove in the Angels' first run in that 3rd inning. That one bounced up there. Mattis, 5 innings plus 2 batters, 5 runs on 13 hits. Tommy Hunter gave the Orioles 2 innings, 1 run on 2 hits, and now Kevin Gregg in the 8th has allowed a run this inning on the home run by Hester. 1-2 is hit slowly towards second. To his left, Brian Roberts, funny in-between hop, and he gets it there just in time to get Torrey Hunter, and the inning is over. Angels had a run on the home run by Hester. It led to the bottom of the 8th. 7-1, the Angels lead the Birds. Authority of the Orioles, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Well, C.J. Wilson, an outstanding outing tonight as he goes 7 innings, 6 hits. He allows only 1 run because the Orioles had trouble once getting into scoring position, getting runners in, as the Birds in this game have stranded 8. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 107 pitches for C.J. Wilson.
Yeah, he played the big points well tonight. 3 times with less than 2 outs, runners at third, and none of them scored. Only the solo home run. And the veteran, talking to Jason, I said, "How old are you?" He goes, "I'll be 40 in September." So he started slowly, as the whole bullpen did for the Angels, and then, of course, they turned it around. And he's been 20. This will be his 27th appearance, and he's only been scored on in 22. Look at those numbers. And I said, "I watched you early on." I said, "What was going on?" And a lot of cutters. He said, "I just didn't have a lot of arm strength." But it seems like it's that he's fastball command has been a lot better. And again, as a veteran, he knows how to pitch.
Matt Wieters will lead off. He is 1 out of 3. And takes a strike. Matt has also reached on an error. Buck Showalter's club down now 7-1. And that one down and in. Wieters now has 4 hits on the homestand. And looks over ball 2.
.300 lifetime saves for Jason. Nice little stretch when he was playing for the Cardinals. 47, 39, 33. And right there, obviously not the fastball command he wants, way outside.
Three and 1 on Wieters, leading off in the Oriole 8th. And a strike call.
And that ball about an inch or 2 outside. Orioles need base runners. Wonder why hitting's down. It's a perfect example. Should have been a ball. Should have been a base on ball. And you get the outside part of the plate. So therefore, you're going to swing at that pitch. Because you can't. A strike's not a strike.
Mike Scioscia's team has been on a roll. They begin a long road trip here tonight. And it's low ball 4. Close pitch, and Wieters got the call, so a leadoff walk here in the 8th. Here's a look at our Nissan Inside. The numbers close a great deal now on your new Nissan, but hurry, the door to your opportunity closes on July the 2nd. Well, the Orioles RBI leaders this season. Adam Jones with 40. He has 11 multi-RBI games. Matt Wieters, Chris Davis with 31. So 3 with at least 30, 1 with 40. J.J. Hardy, Wilson Betemit, Nick Markakis, and Mark Reynolds. So 7 players with at least 20 RBIs. That is very good production up and down the Orioles lineup.
Yeah, the Orioles come in 8th in runs. And that, of course, that number's gone down. They were about 5th 3 weeks ago.
And they sure do miss Markakis in the lineup. Reynolds takes a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, right when Nick was starting to swing the bat better, he hit a couple of home runs in the National Series. And then again, the defensive capabilities. Gold Glover.
Fouled straight back, 1-2. That's why I couldn't find him. I knew Isringhausen was drafted by the Mets.
Oh, he was one
I forgot he was a 44th round pick. I didn't go that far down the chart. Oh, yeah, there he is from Lewis and Clark Junior College.
But he was also what they had Paul Wilson.
Right.
They had Pulsiver, Bill Pulsiver. They had
and Isringhausen.
Yeah, those were the 3 guys, and they would all have pretty major injuries.
1-2 pitch, high pop up, shallow left. Mike Trout is in on it. And he has it for the out. Reynolds retired. He's 0 for 4 and 1 away. Well, fans, the start time for the Saturday, July 14th game against the Tigers has been moved from 7:05 to 4:05 to accommodate the Fox national TV broadcast. Of course, that game on July 14th marks the unveiling of the Jim Palmer sculpture as part of the Orioles Legend Series. Ceremonies now will begin at 2:15. All gates open at 2. Please come out and join us. For your tickets, 888-848-BIRD or go online at Orioles.com. There's the Frank Robinson sculpture, and the Saturday he'll have company as Earl Weaver's statue will be dedicated.
Now, are they all the same size? I know this sounds like I'm trying to make fun, but really, it'd be kind of interesting. I mean, are they all, I suppose, depending on, I mean, Frank is coming out of a hitting crouch. Earl is probably glaring at an umpire. High leg kick. Eddie will be Eddie. Brooksy will probably be, I don't know, fielding, I suppose. 16 straight Gold Gloves. Cal could be
anything,
yeah. With 428 home runs, 3,000 hits.
Wow, who's that young guy in the end?
What's Frank? Over here on the left? That was filmed, that was at Memorial Stadium.
2-1 on Betemeet. Well, it's going to be a great day for Earl. It's going to be a great day for you.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Earl's on Saturday. And
are you one of the speakers?
No, he didn't have. Are you kidding me?
Betemeet to right field. Will it stay fair? Down the line it goes, and that is a home run. It hit the foul pole. Betemeet hits it out. It's a 2-run shot, and it's a 7-3 game.
So now for Wilson, 10 home runs, 9 hitting left-handed.
So the Orioles finally get a big blow. It's a 4-run game in the 8th and still only 1 man down.
Well, really one of the few times as we look at Wilson Betemeet, the bullpen has not been able to keep it as close as they would like. The add-on runs by the Angels off of Hunter and Gregg, and take a look right here, and they're trying to hit the outside corner and doesn't get it there. This ball pretty much outside middle, and Wilson Betemeet really can hit the fastball. Everybody tries to stay away from that pitch.
Pierce takes inside, a ball and a strike. So number 10 for Wilson Betemeet. Liz Ringhausen wants a new baseball. Pierce 2 out of 3, singly homered. So Wilson joins the double-digit home run club on the Orioles. So that leadoff walk does come around the score. Pierce off the end of the bat, shallow left. The shortstop Ibar will take control. And he's got it for the out and 2 men down. For every Orioles walk this season, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield will contribute $50 to support the American Heart Association Heart Walk. And to date, the Orioles have drawn 208 walks. That's a total of $10,400. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. Here's Steve Tollefson now. And it's taken inside. So the Orioles now have 5 hitters with at least 10 home runs, with Betemeet hitting his 10th. Ground ball slowly at the second. Kendrick will charge. He'll get it to first, and the inning ends. But the Orioles get a couple back. As we head to the 9th, Betemeet hits it out his 10th, and that makes it 7-3. The Angels have the lead heading to the 9th. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Denny's. America's Diner is always open. And by Dodge. See your authorized Dodge dealer and experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Schedule a test drive or go to dodge.com and check out our powerful lineup. Well, it is a rough night on the mound for the Oriole pitchers. 3 so far, all have allowed runs. 16 hits, most since May the 7th. The Texas had 19. 4 home runs, the most since May the 8th when the Rangers had 5. And Brian Mattis, a career-high 13 base hits allowed.
Yeah, Brian started that game, that 14-3 game, as we look at Luis Ayala back in May. And then the next night, that's the night that Josh Hamilton hit the 4 home runs. So you can look at the numbers. Had almost a hit per inning, but doesn't walk anybody. Moves the ball, different arm angles, almost everything. He's got a little bit of runner cut, turning it over. Very, very effective both against lefties and righties. And then he gets to face Albert Pujols. That's always a thrill.
Luis last pitched on Saturday, a scoreless inning against the Nationals, and he gets a hit 0-1. If Dana Evelyn made it back, it's an 8-man bullpen tonight. He was en route back from California, where his wife just gave birth. He was supposed to arrive, Buck thought, sometime during the game. That's what he said in his pregame press meeting with the reporters.
Well, certainly couldn't be thunderstorms with the weather we have here.
Beautiful.
Perfect night.
So 0-2 on Pujols. Down and away, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he got him started tonight with a home run, 2-run shot off of Brian Mattis.
Yeah, that made it 3-0 in the 5th. It was a 1-0 game going to the 5th, down and in. 2-2 on Pujols.
So what that was, I thought I saw the graphic, 455th home run of his career. Ton. All I know is he hit
a lot.
Well, he hit 10 consecutive years with at least 30, with at least hitting 300, with at least 30 doubles, with at least 100 RBIs.
Hard hit ball to third, played by Andino, and straightens and throws in the dirt, and a scoop by Betemit.
Yeah, and then Robert gives Betemit a little high five there as he bailed him out. Could have been an error. Hot shot though. But he's got the hands. Robert Andino about as good a hands as you would want for an infielder. And then Wilson kind of tags the base a couple of times.
Here's Trumbo, who hit a home run out on the sod farm his last at bat. He's 2 out of 4.
The sod farm.
That's what it is. It is for real.
How do you know that?
Because they have sod out there. There's Walden getting loose to come on.
Walden, last year's closer.
In case Nicole needs, a patch here.
Yeah, your old
set.
Yeah, set was out there. Studio, whatever you want to call it. The wind tunnel.
The studio set. See, there it is.
That looks like grass to me. What do you mean sod? It's grass.
I'm from the Garden State. Okay. That's a sod farm.
Now in Anaheim,
that'd be a golf course.
No, it would be. They have artificial grass, not on their field, but out the hills.
Whoa! That one gets away, and Trumbo is hit by a pitch. And he'll go down to first.
Well, they won't be happy about it because they've hit 4 home runs, but a little late. And don't think. Well, I mean, Mike Scioscia's going, what is this about? Because that ball's behind him. If he doesn't move, the ball's behind him. Now, again, when your arm angle is what it is, but you know it's not going to make the Angels happy. Because, and the reason it doesn't, it's not because he got hit. It's just because if anytime you throw at anybody, or even if the ball hits somebody, it's a chance for injuries.
Howie Kendrick now takes a strike. That just looked like a 2-seamer that kept on running.
Well, it was 4 feet inside, yes, but it was. I mean, I'm not saying he tried to throw at him. There would be no reason to.
Right. Kendrick is 2 for 4 with a couple of singles. Trumbo runs, and it's hit the right field for a base hit. And you know Trumbo's going to make it to third easily.
Well, I don't know if it's a run and hit or a hit and run. But if you start the runner, somebody's got to cover. You want to hit the ball to where the defensive place is again vacated. And Luis Ayala's going over to cover first base, but nobody's playing. You can see Brian Roberts, he's up the middle anyway, but he comes over because he sees Trumbo start. So eventually you try to hold your defensive position as long as you can. So perfectly executed for the 17th hit.
Eric Ibar now, he's 1 out of 4 with a bunt single. Takes a strike on the outside corner.
And still the time of the year where if you're 11th in runs and you put 7, 8, 9 runs and you get 17, 18, 19 hits, you'll go up the ladder or down the ladder, I guess, depending on which way you're looking at it, as far as runs scored in a hurry.
Swings through it 0-2. Ayala, the 4th Oriole pitcher. Gets ahead of Eric Ibar. Switch hitter batting left. Has extended his hitting streak to 11 in a row tonight. And the 0-2, and he got him. Couldn't reach that pitch down and away, and 2 outs.
Well, again, you're wondering how you can get this kind of swing from a major leaguer. It's easy. The ball just goes to the corner and keeps running. So a 2-seamer, just watch that 2-seam spin. Away, 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 and can't reach it.
There was a second there. It was down the middle.
Well, yeah, that's late movement.
Wow, what a pitch.
I mean, just think about it. You're trying to get the good part of the bat on the ball and somehow track it. And the more it moves, the harder it is to do that. And perfect illustration of how much movement and how effective it can be.
Time requested at the plate by Esturis.
So you're still in the game. They need 3 outs, so that was a big strikeout. They're trailing by 4.
Belt tie strike. A hit batsman and a single. Runners at first and third. Buck Showalter with his bench coach John Russell. Flashing some signs there to Wieters.
Well, you have one of the best throwing catchers, but it doesn't mean they won't run. There they go.
And it's popped up. And Dino at third, fair territory. And he has it for the out, and the inning ends. So a couple of base runners, 2 left. Here we go. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Did the Orioles have a rally? They come to bat down by 4. 7-17-1 for the Angels as the Birds have 3 runs on 7 base hits. All 3 Oriole runs have come in on 2 home runs. And here is Jordan Walden, Jim, to pitch the 9th.
Yeah, last year the closer. This year struggled early, as did the entire bullpen. And of course, since they removed him, and he is no longer the closer, he has done very well. Only 3 earned runs in 17 2/3 innings. You can see dominates lefties. The Orioles have never ever scored in a run 4 1/3 innings. So he comes in. It's not a save situation, even though it looks like they have some action in their bullpen in case the Orioles mount a rally. Hard throwing righty with a big breaking ball. Last year, 32 saves out of 42 opportunities in his rookie season.
And Dino will lead off, then back to the top of the lineup for Roberts and Hardy. Orioles down by 4. They were down 7-1. Betemit with a 2-run home run last inning off Isringhausen. So Isringhausen 1 run, 1 inning and 2 runs on 1 hit.
13 walks and again, you don't know what part of the season, but 13 walks in 22 innings. So you like that if you're the Orioles. But again, really good stuff for Jordan Walden.
And Dino is 0 for 2. He's also drawn a walk.
96.
He's got that little funky hesitation right before he delivers. And then he comes in at 96.
Well, he's a big guy at 6'5", so the important thing is can he get over that front side and throw the ball downhill.
Breaking ball down and away.
Well, what it is that right foot, that push-off foot. Watch this. I mean, it actually comes off and he slides it. If that was women's softball, he would they would be warning him. I was watching one of the finals, and they kept calling balks on the girl because your foot supposedly is supposed to be in contact with the rubber. In essence, he's actually pitching not 60 feet 6 inches, about 60 feet, what, maybe 60 feet.
Ball 3.
But again, the initial contact.
So in other words, as that side replay showed, his back foot does leave the rubber. Technically, that's illegal.
I don't think so, because I'm sure mine did too. I mean, you can't. Your momentum propels you down the pitching slope. Just has to be in contact with the rubber as you push off. Kind of interesting, you know, a lot of times. I mean, this is a slow motion, so look at him slide it.
Wow. Both feet in the air before he lands and delivers.
Of course, a lot of pitching coaches will tell you want to be right on that right toe. We used to drag our foot to throw a changeup.
And Dino slices it down the right side. Hunter over, runs out of room.
Because when you throw the good changeup, not that Walden has a great one, he has more of a breaking ball. You want the illusion is the arm speed's the same. So if I drag my foot versus actually pushing off, the arm speed can be the same, but you can lose velocity, and that's where you get the effect. And
8th pitch in this at bat. Outside. The Orioles a leadoff walk. Mike Scioscia looking on from the Angels bench. Here's an update on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game, and Peter Borges with 80% running away with it. Pierce 17, King Albert 3%. Still time to vote. Text it in now, A, B, or C to 31826. Amber and Rick will have the results coming up on O's Extra Post Game.
So they need 3 outs, and the Orioles need 4 runs to tie it.
Ryan Roberts takes a strike right down the middle.
And then Pujols will play about 2 steps. Albert will kind of slide off the base, and he'll try to take care of this little hole there just in case Brian pulls one of those fastballs.
Outside, a ball and a strike. One thing the Orioles are, they have been more patient. And Dino works the walk. 1-1 now. Got to get on base. Be patient.
I'm with you.
Ball. Oh, wow. Wow.
He's really hadn't been very good the last 3 or 4 innings, but pretty good through 5. But Dana DeMuth, I think Brian Roberts hardly ever says anything. I mean, no reason to debate this. He's just missed some pitches, and this is one of them. The ball is definitely high. Not tonight, apparently, but and there's the hook. Nice job by John Hester just keeping that ball in front of him. And the reason I say that, because if it gets by him, again, you still have a 4-run lead, but you take away the possibility of a double play.
And Dino a leadoff walk. He's at first. 2-2 as Walden battling command here. And Roberts down on strikes.
Boy, a big difference getting quickly to 2 strikes.
And he says something to Dana Demuth as he walks away.
Well, he might have said, you know, I've been away for 13 months because of the concussion. I'm a little guy. It makes it harder to hit when the strike zone gets big.
J.J. Hardy now.
And then you couple it with a guy that throws 97 on the outside corner. That makes it even more difficult.
J.J. is 0 for 4, 3 for his last 36. He has struck out twice tonight. Strike 2. Got 65 at bats without a home run. Got a piece, and that got a piece of Hester. Steve Pearce with a home run tonight. He's had a nice night.
Well, 6 home runs tonight.
Betemit has a 2-run shot.
4 by the Angels, 2 by the Orioles. Clear night, no humidity, ball carrying. Hittable pitches.
Yep. And Hardy down on strikes.
Well, when you are big, and that's what Jordan Walden is, and you throw 96 to 97, and then you get to 2 strikes, and you drop off this kind of curveball, it goes straight down. It's a good hook. But again, we've said all night long, when you're 2 for your last 37, you're not seeing the ball well. And then you couple it with the fact that these guys have great stuff and they're making good pitches. Tough to hit.
Adam Jones 1 out of 4. He singled back in the 4th inning. Orioles down to their final out. And Dino runs because they give him the base. That won't be a stolen base.
And you do that because you don't care about the double play. You're looking for outs if you're Mike Scioscia and the Angels.
Oh, it's right on that pitch. 0-2.
Yeah, I think that might have even been a curveball, and he might have crossed him up because he came out. Runner now at second. I don't think there's ever been any question that Jordan Walden doesn't have a good arm. 96, 97.
High fly ball to right. Torrey Hunter will put it away, and the Angels grab the opener here with an offensive onslaught. 7 runs on 17 hits as the Angels hitting out 4 home runs to win the game. Well, we hope you can join us again tomorrow. More O's action, our series finale against the Angels. Good pitching matchup. It'll be Jason Hamill against Jared Weaver. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with O's Extra on MASN, presented by Jeep, and then game action at 7 o'clock. And now for Jim Palmer and our entire crew, Jim Hunter saying so long from Camden Yards, where the Angels have defeated the Orioles 7-3. Tonight's telecast has been a MASN presentation. Amber and Rick, O's Extra comes your way right now. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Second game of the 2-game series.